Damn, Gary, some serious gourmet shit. What flavor is this? That's right, it's the all-hell medium roast private blend. Check out the Geek Coffee Nerdrotic page for our other options like the Decadent, Feathers of Liberty, vanilla-infused flavored coffee. Or if you're looking for something darker, try the Dark Roast FNT blend of the Fellowship. You know what? Just buy all three. GeekGrindCoffee.com. Use discount code Nerdrotic.
Nerdrotic.com.
Welcome, travelers, to the fringes of reality, where the strange and mysterious meet, and the thin veil between fact and fiction is torn. Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier.
Thank you, lovely audience. Let's hear that again. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to steal this from Grego. You are phenomenal. Thank you.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
That was great. That was a really great. The X-rays missing from that, though. I gotta just say.
I think it was okay. I think it was fine for her to be missing.
Oh, she doesn't know. Never mind. Nothing. We're
That's
good.
fine. Just move.
It was great.
Can you find
T-shirt.
that?
T-shirt idea though.
Grego,
Be real.
it is really
It's a banger.
phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
I'll just be over here. It's fine.
Where was that? Was that on?
I can find
Grego.
Twitter?
Yeah.
it. I retweeted
Oh
it.
wait, there's one in our Discord. I got it.
Oh yeah, Perry posted it.
Perry.
I wouldn't have seen it without
Perry
Perry.
Chan, the legend that made that intro. So if you like that intro, that's all Perry Chan, man.
Perry Chan.
That's
The genius.
Perry Chan.
Got to see him for like
That
2
was actually his
seconds.
voice too. He sounds just like Mahler. It's so weird.
It's weird how he
It's
did
very
that.
deep for.
Really good Mahler impression he did.
Yeah, I'm
I only
sharing
got to
it
see
right
Perry for like 2 seconds, man.
Your movie sucks. You know what?
now.
Look at Mahler.
Oh, yeah, I
Look at
remember
that.
that. I didn't see the phenomenal part.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I was like, oh, that needs to be on a T-shirt. That is
Fantastic.
You can see X-Ray Girl if you squint and you scooch in.
It's just
Hell.
right
You zoom it in there.
there.
Yeah.
I'm that little rock at the back.
right where you
Yeah.
belong.
In the
Yeah,
back?
it's a
Yep.
banger. Whoa.
But-
Back here.
As a
what
rock.
about?
I think
Oh, okay.
As a rock.
I just making sure.
Like a rock. Because,
Could be,
you know,
could be
Yeah, you're the
interpreted.
Making
the rock.
sandwiches
You're the base.
for Mark.
Oh yeah, I make good sandwiches.
That's good. Mr. Nerdrotic makes a mean sandwich. I'll tell you. Yeah, I was talking about Mahler earlier, and your movie sucks. You got to eat your Wheaties if you're gonna go up against our boy Mahler. Just gonna say that he had a little debate about a drinker video. Mahler whooped his ass. It was it was kind of sad.
It is expected.
It's kind of sad. But hey, welcome to Forbidden Frontier, ladies and gentlemen.
Travelers.
Today
Hello,
we are-
travelers.
We're going to research the mystery of anime titties and hentai.
wait.
It's not the show.
I didn't do any
Okay,
research for that.
That was the weekend.
I am at Anime Matsuri still. It ended today. It was tons of fun. I'm tired. I want to go home. But it was like tons of fun. See, the fellowship you are a wonderful group of people. And you fire me up. I can't wait to get home and make a video. But got to meet Drinker and hang out with Camelot and Nick Ricada and Lila Hart and Chrissy Mayer and Garrett showed up for like a minute. Frank Gore.
He's in the chat right now.
He is in the chat. Frank the Tank
Frank
Gore.
Gore.
Frank
The tank
that
for
place.
sure.
What a great episode of Normal World, too. because
That was
you had
good.
him on last week.
That
Yeah,
was
we had
really,
Frank
really
on.
good. Yeah, things worked out. So and that's thanks to you guys. So we love you guys. We appreciate you guys, and hopefully this will be at least an entertaining show, because quite frankly, the subject I picked
Kind of sparse.
No,
Kinda
no,
sparse.
no,
It's a little bit-
no. Hold
it's a
on, hold on.
mystery, mostly.
It's such a cool subject. It's just it's not researched.
There's not
That's
enough.
the problem. There's no
Yeah.
one. Well, I mean, Mexico did put a lab there, but you
weird.
look into you look into what they're actually researching, and it has nothing to do with why all this stuff's happening.
Yeah.
It's like I found the website of this place. I think I posted it, and if you read the website of what they're talking about, they're talking about like meteorological changes in the atmosphere, but that has nothing to do with the zone of silence. It just the lab, it happens to be located on location, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
what are you trying to appease the people that are out there? I don't know.
I
It's like
feel like
they're all prepped, but they're not doing anything.
it's like all this stuff around like the aliens, UFOs, it's not researched enough. And I mean, there was some things about stuff about trying to build an oil pipeline, and it kind of is scary that if you don't have radios, what happens when something goes wrong? You can't contact someone.
Yeah, that's
I
the thing
mean,
about the whole area.
to get into
There's Go ahead.
to get into the socio-political problem with Mexico is they have as much oil as we do in America. They could be a superpower. They've just never had the infrastructure to export it, to refine it. They're building a refinery. Exactly. And they're building a refinery right now that most people don't even think is going to work. Which it's due to massive government corruption, but they have enough fossil fuel to be a massive economic power. They just don't know they can't get it out of the country.
Well, their country's so corrupt.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It sucks. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And our country is one of those reasons. Let's be real. Be real.
Maybe the reason.
Well,
yeah, maybe.
But one of the problems with the zone of silence is it borders like some pretty hairy parts of Mexico. And for one, it's in the middle of nowhere. And there's also some provinces, I guess they're called there, or states that aren't so nice. So it's tough for people to get in and out and do the research. But that goes for like Iran. We hear a bunch of about a bunch of ruins in the Middle East, but there's certain countries we just never hear about. Why? Because of their government, and there's not a lot of research going on there.
And the
I'm
Eye
sure
of Sahara
Afghanistan,
is the same way,
which is in Mauritania. Somehow, the guys from Top Gear were able to go there. I don't know why, but I guess that's in
they got to the Eye of Sahara.
No, but they're in Mauritania, which is just
money.
Go watch Jimmy's videos describe what Mauritania is like right now, and it's not nice. It's definitely not a nice place to go. There's an advisory right now, like nobody's supposed to go there. For America, anyway. Or maybe they just don't want Americans there. Not sure. We'll have to find out. Can you blame them? Really? I mean, it's the way some of us ask. But yeah, it's really tough. But there is strangeness, and it has something in common with other mysterious places like the Bermuda Triangle,
Skinwalker Ranch.
I
don't know if you made that connection.
Absolutely.
The Nevada Triangle, the Michigan Triangle. There's a triangle in Alaska. There are magnetic anomalies all around the world. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting subject, though. A lot of planes go missing, a lot of weird lights, a lot of the compass spinning, and mutated plants, strange stuff.
And animals.
So they say.
Yeah, that's
I wonder if we take all those
bugged me.
points on the globe and then connect them. Where would it point? Because a lot of the ley lines that they show, when they show like the ley lines of different temples and sites like this, it's across the globe, but like through the globe. What if we connected them like that? Would it point to anywhere inside of the Earth if they all cross?
If you look up,
because like these are lines across the globe on the outside.
the zone of silence intersects with the same parallels. It's in the same parallel. I think it's 26 and 27. Can't remember the number, or 25th or 26th as the Bermuda Triangle. It's in the same one. It is 400 miles south of El Paso. So it's kind of a little southeast of me.
Yeah, you
in San Antonio. So yeah,
can make it.
I could drive there if I wanted to. I don't want to.
If you could get there.
Yeah, so supposedly there's these mutated plants and mutated animals and animals that only exist in the zone of silence. And yet there's no images, no descriptions of any plants or animals that are different or mutated. So it's this what I've noticed, this is all just hearsay. Minus the missile thing, which I guess the US was testing a missile from
1970, yeah.
And it was like middle of America, like from Utah or something.
White Sands. It was supposed to land in White Sands, New
It was
Mexico.
supposed to land.
And it overshot by
But it
300, 400 miles. And it landed
right into the zone of silence.
Yeah.
Right into the zone
Well,
of
and there's
silence.
also all the meteorites that come down. and that
Apparently
have
a
hit
large amount.
multiple times in the same spot. So is there some kind of like
Same
gravitational
ranch, just hit-
sink that's pulling things into it?
was something
And yet-
magnetic. Yeah.
And yet on Google Earth, and I gave you the link if you want to pull that up, there is 0 like craters. If you would think that this was being hit over and over and over again, you'd think that there would be like pock marks all over the place. It's a little more north. Yeah, see the
Go to the
Zona
right.
del Silencio.
Go to the right. Okay. Okay. Zoom in on that.
These little spots.
Yeah.
Those are like plateaus.
Those are
aren't they?
elevations.
All right. Go up here. I was looking earlier.
Well, the thing is like if it's small space debris, it wouldn't make a massive. It may burn up in the sky. If it's some kind of gravitational sink and it's pulling things in,
Right.
it
They
could just be
burn
pulling a
up
bunch of stuff and
there.
burning it up. Yeah.
Yeah, true. But the one thing that I did notice, and it's just north of. Let me see if I can pull it up myself. Just north of where it says like this is where the zone of silence is. There's like this perfectly straight line that almost looks like a runway of some sort.
This
look.
one right here.
No, further down, like closer to
Like
the
right
zone.
there.
Yeah, you see it right above
That
it.
maybe a
That-
photo. Oh no, yeah, I see that. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Like, that's a long strip.
Oh. Very
I don't know.
interesting. And
found that
how
really odd.
is there like a measuring tool? Want to know how big that is?
100 miles.
100. What does that say?
Is
here?
it Is it meters or miles? I don't know.
I think it's probably meters. It's in Canadian.
Meters, yeah. Maybe
So
meters.
that's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's
Like 600 meters, maybe.
half a mile, a little
You
more.
could
than
measure
half a
it.
mile.
Is there a measuring tool on this?
Yeah. You right click.
Right click.
Should be a right click. Right in the bottom.
Measure distance.
Measure distance.
Oh my god, I cannot see it for the life of me.
Okay, right click.
It's
Right-click
the
the
bottom option.
Just
Right
no,
click
no,
the
no.
screen.
Go on
No.
the screen. Go in the middle of the screen. Right click. Go on the
At
bottom.
the bottom, the very bottom one.
Well, you're gonna want to click.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
There you go.
we did it. Science,
I
baby.
did it!
Science, baby.
Oh my god. And now I
650
can't read
meters.
it. It's so small.
Well, and you now have a perfectly straight line.
Oh,
and
there's
it
this at the
follows it
bottom.
perfectly.
That was really close. 600 meters. Okay. Dang.
That's
In the
odd.
middle of nowhere. That is odd.
That
And move the map up or go down a little bit. No, not zoom out. So like this is their research station right here.
Yeah.
This Laboratorio del Desierto.
Maybe it is a little
Is
landing
yes,
strip that
oh.
they've
Oh,
used.
Laboratorio de Science.
yeah, and like
It sure has
the
Antonio.
Day science. Oh,
it just looks so like it's just a random building just to
Yeah.
appease people. It doesn't look like it's used.
I
Much.
know.
Maybe they're
in
monitoring
that
that
video-
that kind of internet in a interspatial contact. Like we've got a lot of these meteors coming in. Obviously the weird compass stuff and how it messes with radios, a lot like Skinwalker Ranch. Maybe that's what they're trying to study. They're trying to figure out why, because they don't have a reason.
There could be. Like, imagine this is like government stuff. You could go in, and then there's a huge laboratory underneath, and there's like a garage with all the cars, so that people don't actually know that they're there. Because I mean, we've seen 2 points in time: that video and this. No car scene at all. No movement at all.
Somebody in the chat says, I think that literally translates to lab in the desert.
It makes sense.
I think it does.
Yes.
I think it does.
Thank you.
It's accurate, right?
That's exactly what it is. I mean, it's not like they have neighbors. So yeah.
It's like Area 51 in
odd
Mexico.
that there's a lab there, but they're like, it's totally unrelated to the weird stuff that's going on here.
Listen to how they describe what they're doing.
Say it's not related?
So, okay, it's reported that it is about developing transdisciplinary and multi-sectorial planning.
Trans issues in the middle of the desert. Why are they dealing with gender? That's so weird.
No, I'm not done. Multi-sectoral planning of the project for attention to national problems, entitled Participatory Observatory for the Protection of the Cultural and Biotic Diversity of Arid Zones in Mexico. Like, what the hell is that?
It's a desert lab that studies the desert?
I guess.
That's their...
But it has nothing to do with the Zone of Silence.
Yeah.
Like, nothing that I've read from what this lab is doing has anything to do with the Zone of Silence. I think it's a cover. That shit is definitely some sort of money funneling something. Dude, it's just everything I've seen about this lab is just
preservation of things that are already here where nobody goes.
Yeah.
With a landing strip right next to it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like you go in the basement and it's just like a cocaine factory or some shit.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, it's
they're all like little grays.
We know where he went.
Grays making cocaine.
Yeah, it's a landing strip. That's how they export that shit.
I mean, we're probably not far off. Okay, let's be real. What's the landing strip for? It's for preserving the desert. But if you didn't build the landing strip, you would have been preserving the desert. So that's kind of like flying in a private jet to climate summits. It's really weird.
In the international event that takes place in the Mapimi biosphere, which is what they call this zone, in addition to the members of the proposal approved for the SSE of Arid Zones of Mexico, there will be a participation of international researchers, France, Morocco, Argentina, United States, in addition to Mexico, who have the experience in the installation of observatories in arid regions. It's all about just like, oh yeah, we're just looking at the region. It's dry, it's deserty. We're researching deserts.
So I looked up.
I mean, it's a good place to research deserts, though. Let's be real.
I looked up the length of a private landing strip, and it's double the length in reality.
Double the
length. This length is not long enough.
Short.
You tell all all the girls that.
Well, okay.
I need at least
those boats that they land on.
1,800 meters.
Those planes, they're really short, right? I don't know how long those.
Well, they have hooks though.
Maybe.
That catches them.
Never mind.
Slows them down. But I mean, you look at those bush planes in Alaska, and they can land on like 1 inch. They could go boom, boom, and then they land.
I just looked up the typical length of some. It's average.
The average?
Size queens?
It's not the length of your one way, all right?
Okay, let's say
you
You land the plane, all right?
You land the plane.
It's quality, not quantity. We didn't say we're mature here. Something that I would really want them to do, if they could, would be to research why there is an increased amount of electromagnetism in the area. Now, we've learned that electromagnetism has screwed up with a lot of stuff in other areas. With this one in particular is the radio and plane navigation systems, and like that freaks me out, because I guess if you go there, would you be able to call anyone? Probably not.
No.
No.
It is the Zone of Silence.
It is the zone of silence for a reason, and I mean, it's got a straight up sign that calls it the zone of silence. So they have acknowledged it, and there's been enough weird stuff, just not enough people going out there, not enough people researching it, which requires funding. And we have a hard time, like we can't get anything funded for like stuff we know or we're close to knowing happening. And like, look, well, the whole Younger Dryas thing. Like there's a lot of really good evidence around there, but they're getting better funding now than they used to, but it's still
Well, this lab is the front to get funding, but it's not going to research.
Well, somebody brought up Fauci lab, and I'm like,
I mean, that would be a
That's
safe
not close to the wet
area.
market, so it doesn't work.
Are we allowed to talk about that yet?
Probably not. But
no. It was a mutated animal. This time.
Yeah. I think it's
Mutated
really
soup.
interesting that there's very unique biodiversity there too. Like they supposedly, where
I was looking
there
for it.
No plants apparently anywhere else in the world,
true.
and no plants of that kind like that. It's just unique to that
I want
area.
to do a little bit
I
of
kept on
a.
seeing pictures of purple cactus, which is everywhere. By the way, you can see it in
We
Arizona.
want to do like a
weird
read-through
looking, but it's a thing. You're from
its
Arizona,
backstory.
Adam. You've seen it before, so
I've never seen a
I've seen
purple
it.
cactus. That's cool.
it's
the
really cool.
desert's a lot. It's really colorful, especially after it rains.
Yep.
When it rains, and man, the colors just.
Oh, dude, this year, which they're saying is like the warmest ever, and climate change, blah blah blah. People forgot like 4 months ago, and I had a conversation on this channel driving through Arizona, and it had been greener than I'd ever seen it, seen it. It was pouring rain. Like summer didn't even start in Arizona until like a month ago. It was pouring.
Really?
Man, if we're gonna destroy this planet, we're not doing a good enough job. It seems to be
We
doing
need
fine.
to do better.
Do better.
We need Al Gore to fly around in his private jet a little more. And John, and is it why am I forgetting his name? He ran for president, plastic surgery, married the Heinz ketchup lady. Come on,
Chat, please help us.
I got nothing.
I don't know enough politics
Oh,
to
you don't
know
have to.
this.
He's got a really
not
long.
Mitt Romney, right? It's
Ross Perot.
No,
Bob
He's a
Dylan. John Kerry.
Kerry. Thank you, John.
That's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah,
I
he's
just
got a
started
long
reading
face.
names from chat.
I know. Thanks, chat.
John Kerry. Yes, who is trying to put all the plastic of the planet in his face for climate change.
Wow.
Saving the Earth.
He's saving us
Saving the
from the
Earth.
plastic.
The Earth.
The Earth.
Okay. The very flat Earth. It's not flat, by the way. The Earth is not fucking
very
flat.
Dude,
It's
Jimmy.
oblong. close to
Jimmy has
circle.
he's been posting the most like triggering things to not for me, but like he's just like posting on Twitter nonstop about just trying to trigger people. It's so
What was his
satisfying.
last triggering tweet?
the one about flat Earth, or there's a picture. He's like,
flying
doesn't
over
this
Nova Scotia, and you can
Yeah.
see the curvature
like,
of the Earth.
look at that, the curve.
And of course,
Like
somebody goes,
curves, okay.
it's the lens of the camera. It's like, oh, bro.
Stop.
And also, I had this conversation on the floor at Anime Matsuri as far as the fake moon landing. You can see the tracks from the car. You can see the flag. If you have a powerful enough telescope, you can see where they landed. So
That is pretty cool.
my theory on the moon landing is they did have to fake some of the footage because it would have been very
I
difficult
can see that.
for a camera
see
to
that.
work up there because of the radiation. So
I can see them like building it
going
all
there and
up.
having to reenact it later
Yeah.
for theater. I think that's a possibility.
See,
Right.
the moon, there's a picture of a moon here that Jimmy shared. This is probably what the zone should look like if there's been a lot of meteors hitting it.
Well,
the
Garrett made a
moon's
good
little
point
different.
though. There's no atmosphere on the moon, so
Yeah, to be
those
fair,
things are going right to it.
Randall has talked about is that the Earth would look like the moon if it wasn't for an atmosphere. Yep.
Right.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Love that
Jesus,
atmosphere.
For the atmosphere, please. Thank you. Keep
We
it-
live because of you.
The little thin layer of gas. Thanks for the
keeps
gas.
us all here.
Thanks, trees.
That website actually is really good. It has basically all the different weird things that have happened.
Yeah, that's what I think we should go through it, and it actually
Yeah.
it sets up the zone of silence. If you haven't gone through the videos like we have, it kind of lets you know where it came from, how we found out about it, and the little stories. And there's not a lot. There's a few stories. There's local stories, and like that's it. That is it.
Yeah. A zone of silence was discovered by the pilot Francisco Sarabia. Francisco. I like saying his name, Francisco.
Francisco.
Nobody watched Elf? Come on.
X-ray, say it.
Francisco.
Thank you.
Did I do it
That was
right?
Very Asian.
It's fun to say.
Francisco. There you go.
You're gonna somebody else. You're gonna have to read this, X-ray girl. I can't. It's
Okay,
I could zoom in.
or-
Let me zoom in.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
it's so big.
I can read it.
I'll let Adam read it.
Initially, Mapimi has been known to the world since 1930. That time, a Mexican pilot, Francisco Sarabia, discovered something unusual about this special land. The reason this area is called the Silent Zone is because all radio signals, short waves, telephone waves, satellite signals, seem to be affected by a mysterious polar force that makes them impossible to penetrate inside. Accordingly, people in the Mapimi Silent Zone cannot communicate with the rest of the world. Experts and scientists have not discovered any traces of human life in the Zone of Silence. Only a few species of plants and animals grow here. And then, so this is the Athena missile. We kind of mentioned it earlier. Things became even more strange when the U.S. Air Force conducted a test launch of a missile called Athena from the Green River Military Base in Utah, July 11th, 1970. According to the plan, the Athena rocket is programmed to fall in an area around 1,126 kilometers from the launch site, i.e., White Sands, New Mexico State. However, the strange thing is that the Athena rocket flew thousands of kilometers across White Sands and towards Mexico's Silent Zone, Mapimi, before falling to the ground. Before this incident, some U.S. military experts said that the Athena missile seemed to be attracted by a strong force towards the Mapimi Zone of Silence. Although experts have conducted many studies on the Mapimi Silent Zone, so far the mystery of this place has not been solved or researched. No one can explain exactly why anomalies occurred in this strange land. You'd think that the military would have done a little bit more than just be like, that was weird. All right.
It seemed to get drawn over there.
Moving
no
on.
reason to look into that at all.
Bullshit. They didn't look into that.
I think it's very likely, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a big brain guy, but it does seem that there are locations on the Earth that have different kinds of gravitational pulls and different magnetic anomalies that can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it that does it? I don't know. Is it something that's under the Earth's crust, like is there some kind of magma flow that's concentrated in this area that's pulling things in? Some kind of extra mass in that area. Again, like, why have we not looked into this? Why hasn't geologists gone here and go, hey, let's just figure out what's going on? Why are meteors coming down here multiple times? Why did this get attracted here seemingly? Why can't we talk to each other on the radio? There's something weird. Let's look into it and try to figure out our world.
Maybe it's a big chunk of Chicxulub that just fell off, and it's like a big, like the iron core, or something, because it landed around there somewhere. I think
that could be it.
It made me think of Skinwalker, right? There's something under the ground there that is causing these anomalies to happen in Skinwalker. Obviously, been talking about it a lot. So, there's some portal in the sky, but also it really does seem like there's something under the ground. That black spot underneath there or under the mesa.
I completely agree. Like, what are impact indicators? One of them is shocked quartz. So it's quartz that is shocked. And if it can do that to rock, just extrapolate that out. What does it do to the planet? We bring up magma flows, right? So Yellowstone is a hot spot, but it's a stationary hot spot that the crust goes over.
Right.
So it doesn't move with the crust. It's a stationary hot spot on the planet that the crust moves over. That's weird.
It is.
And we don't have but we also don't know what the hell's at the core of our planet. We think we know, but we don't know.
No one's ever been there. I wouldn't want to go.
And ancient impacts have, a lasting impact on magnetism. I think that's not out of the realm of possibility, and that's something that gets brought up quite a bit.
And the thing that I think is annoying to me the most is when something like this, a site that has anomalies, weird things like this proven, and they get labeled with this kind of like pseudoscience label for some reason, and then science seems to not want to investigate it at all once it gets labeled with that. Because then it's like, oh, you're investigating the zone of silence, you wacko. It's like,
You're
well, there's
like
actually
the
some weird stuff happening.
scientist. Yeah.
Right. And that's so annoying to me. What shouldn't the expectation of being a scientist be like? What's this? This is weird. Let's go.
Especially
take
when
a
it's
look.
not like, listen, I can totally understand scientists having problems with like alien grays and spaceships.
Those tall whites.
Those
wait,
tall
what?
whites,
The Nordics.
which are believed to be in the zone of silence. That was
That
one of
is
the things
creepy too.
We'll get into that. We'll get into
Uh-huh.
that.
but
Yeah.
younger
stories.
Dryas, comic impacts. That's not pseudoscience. That's shit that actually happened.
Not anymore. It's
but
more believable than what they claim happened.
I think that stigma is going away. I think more and more people, because of the way that we're interconnected, it's not so easily labeled and dismissed.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going away, but it's
it's deep seated. You know what? They turned into what they hated. So it's a lot of it is deep seated prejudice towards anything that might relate to the effing Bible. They would rather chew their own fucking legs off than admit that maybe there was a flood.
Well, I 100% agree with Garrett. Like there's this, the quickening is happening right now. We're witnessing people look at New York Times, Washington Post, Rolling Stones, NBC, ABC, anything, insert main narrative drivers. And this includes the scientists that are holding on desperately to their $200,000 degrees that taught them a certain way. And if it all gets disproven, it's dust in their hands. It means nothing anymore. And they can't risk it. And they're probably getting paid to continue the narrative. Like, no, we're just going to continue on. Everything's good. Believe the science.
I wrote my 3 books on this. I can't learn new information that makes that invalid because I still want you to buy those books.
The book.
You could do that. You could do a new version. Come on.
It's ego and hubris, dude. I mean, a lot of it is that, and a dogmatic belief in that institution. That institution, which is supposed to be just nothing is fact until it's proven.
Yeah.
Which means you should have an open mind. The scientists should have the most open mind. But man, they have some of the closed. They just close their mind. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. And then when they're challenged on something, even Graham pointed out on last week's episode with that unknown cave of bones, that guy's going to get like slaughtered. And it's like, why? Like,
because they're scared to be wrong. And I think that that's something that a lot of humans don't want to be, is wrong. And
but then they lose,
especially if you're some kind of big brain
identity
guy.
That's where identity
turns out you're not as big brain as you were.
Yeah.
And watching that documentary, Cave of Bones, you can see it when he's talking about releasing this information. He is worried about the way that people are going to portray him. He kind of mentioned it a little bit. And that's why he was like, we got to make sure that we have the information right, so that when we do bring it out, people aren't like, because this is kind of a big deal. Like, oh, wow, 150,000 years before we were doing this, some other species was doing it. Like, okay, that's kind of a huge deal.
It's wild.
It's massive. It's a paradigm shift. It's like finding aliens. Because they're alien to us, but they're doing skeletons.
The idea of wormholes is like crazy.
Well, and you know what, Adam, when we'll do giants again too, because I love that subject. But when they were saying that there's a giant, I mean, not the giant itself, but there's a cover up from the Smithsonian. When I first heard that, I'm like, that's bullshit. Why would they cover this stuff up? It makes no sense. But as time goes on, I'm like, oh, I understand why they would cover stuff up. Absolutely. And it's corruption. It's there's no better word for it. It's absolute corruption. And he who controls history controls the current narrative. And we have seen time after time in the last couple of years, the media doesn't even care if they're caught. They're like outright lying to us, knowing they're lying to us.
Yeah.
And they know they'll get away with it because half the public will just automatically believe them.
Well, and there's something also with, I used to think like the massive cover up of things like the moon landing, right? Like that would be impossible. I do believe we went to the moon, but I don't think it's impossible for us to cover up massive things like that because we have compartmentalization. That's the way that the government covers things up. They don't tell everybody the entire truth. I was watching this video and it was a story about the government forgetting their own secret. They had there's a substance that they were using in the nuclear bombs that was only made at one location, and only a couple of people knew about it. Then they made the substance, didn't need to make it for a while. Over the years, the decades, they were like, hey, we're trying to refurbish some of these old nuclear missiles. We need to remake some of the substance. And they couldn't find anybody that could make it.
Yes.
They had to literally re-engineer it and find out how to make it because everybody that worked at that facility had moved on or passed away and didn't have the plans. A very
similar thing was happening with the building of rockets.
Right. So like they've done it so much that they forget themselves. So you can totally cover shit up.
That's one of the people who try to debunk the moon landing when Buzz Aldrin said we lost that technology. People are like, how the hell do you lose technology? And it's like,
it can be done. Yeah.
I mean, the government, it's all in the secret vault of the secret vault. And then they forget the key. And then everyone who even had any idea that there was a vault there dies. And that's where the keys to the rocket were.
It Greek cement or Roman cement? Or what was that cement that they couldn't recreate?
Right, the Roman cement that
and they only recently
hardened
figured
underwater
it out.
Or something.
They
right?
only recently figured it out after like hundreds of years. They go like, we couldn't figure out how they made this.
They don't know.
And they don't know exactly how to do it.
Terra Preta, they have no idea how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's man-made.
So technology can be discovered, invented, and lost. Absolutely.
Roman concrete. What is it?
Roman cement. Thank you. I was correct.
Roman cement. And then there's the Greek fire that they used.
Greek fire. That's what I was
mixing. Which was like napalm. And they don't know what they used for that.
It could burn on fire, on water.
Fascinating. We live in a fascinating world, man. We really do.
Yep.
We do. The Greek fire. Strange creature. Story 3. Another story recounts that a group of investigators received the aid of strange humans being in the silent zone after they were knocked unconscious by an unusual dust cloud. Even the animals are mutated here.
Supposedly.
Rare plant life species. And above all, it's the suffocating feeling of many people have when they come here to report. So that there is reports of people getting like weird feelings when they're there. Again, magnetic anomalies can do that.
Can affect you. Yeah.
This doesn't actually do this story justice. So the story goes that there was two people that were driving a car and they were having car issues. And as they got out of the car and they were trying to figure it out, there was this like crazy storm that was coming. And someone came by and helped them get their car working. And as they turned to thank the person, it was gone. And then they were able to escape this storm. That was crazy. It was like a flood or some shit like that.
Here's another story about strange beings.
Forest guardians near the silent zone. You read it, Adam. You go.
Okay, sure. Forest guardians near the silent zone said that they had seen mysterious lights in the night and flying objects landing vertically, which caused the bushes below to burn. Additionally, ranchers in the area reported that at night, the sky here often appears with mysterious halos, strange lights, bright streaks of fire, or planes landing vertically in the wilderness desert, often leaving burn marks on the ground. Evenly, there have been reports of strange humanoid creatures. One rancher told that they are often visited by 3 long, blonde-haired humanoid creatures. There are 2 males, 1 female. All of them speak fluent Spanish. The guests always ask for water, not food or anything else, and they say they come from heaven. And actually, this is the only time I've actually seen heaven. Every
From
other
above.
documentary from above is what they respond with. And this actually doesn't mention that they're all also told to be very well dressed, like
Mhm.
really fancy suits, really proper looking humans, blonde haired, blue eyed,
And this is
Pale
from the
skin.
locals. This is what the locals
skin.
have said. It's
Right.
not like
Mhm.
we're going over there and interpreting it as white people showing up. Like, this is what the locals are saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The tall whites, man.
Oh, whites.
It's really creepy. I
White.
It's not just one instance, it's a couple of instances, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not just one. Yeah, it's multiple.
I mean,
It's funny. I say tall whites as a joke, but I'm actually not joking. Actually, if these exist and they're coming from above, whatever the hell that means, I think heaven. This is the only article that mentioned that, and I think that's a
I've never heard heaven till now.
It's an
yeah,
interpretation thing.
yeah, that's a wrong way of putting it because I don't think that's what they mean. From above, it's like okay, from the stars, from
Stars, the wormhole, if there is one,
Mhm. or the other dimension that we can only see a shadow when it's just the apple
Yep.
sitting in 3D when we're in
Yep,
2D.
yep.
yeah.
This also lines up with a lot of mythology of being this, like their gods coming down and they're being pale and having beard or whatever. It's like that
Mhm.
also kind of lines up. Just weird.
The name Mapimi Silent Zone quickly became known. Soon later, researchers flocked here to study these anomalous phenomena. However, so far, the main cause has not been explained, nor have any of those studies been found, because I was looking for them. There are many theories that the area was heavily influenced by extraterrestrial and other paranormal influences. But whatever the reason, the zone of silence continues to be a hot research topic. That's a funny sentence because I don't believe it. The
Yeah,
study this
there's nothing there.
strange
Lies.
to study this strange land, the Mexican government built a research complex in the zone of silence. It's the Laboratorio del Desierto. The main purpose of the complex is to study the. We already went over this, and that's all bullshit.
Yep.
None. I found the website of this place, and none of it mentions anything
of
to
that.
do with the zone of silence. And I think it's just the Mexican government set it up to be like, we could probably get grants and take that money, put it in our own pocket. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like out of the movies, right? It's probably this lab that's got
Yep.
one guy working in it, right? And he never
Yeah.
Receptionist.
anything to happen except one night something happens. He's like watching porn on the screen.
The
and-
lab looks nice though.
It looks like
the
a nice
X-ray
yeah.
sent this video of this girl that just drove through, and she drove right to that lab. So you see her like drive up to it, drive around it. It's like really nice new concrete. There's a statue on
It's
the
like
side.
pretty pristine.
Yeah,
and
it looks like it's never been used.
Yeah.
Once. Yeah. Oh, okay,
and the
sure.
roads look like they are never used.
Right. Well,
So
it's
strange,
dirt.
man.
It's
It's not
It's,
roads.
it's
you know,
like
just
dirt
some
road
dirt.
all the way up to this nice lab in the middle of
Right.
the desert where it's
In the
just
middle
like
of nowhere.
we study desert.
Mhm.
Like, okay.
This is the lab.
Joe, did
you
Desert
mean
in general.
dessert?
Yeah.
Chat, what desert was the opening of Close Encounters where they found Flight 19? What Mexican desert was that? I can't remember now. It's been a minute.
Chat's got it.
Chat will get it.
They haven't.
Chat
First
will get
person
it.
to say it
Then I
wins,
can.
I
wins
wonder if
absolutely nothing.
I wonder if it's the same desert. That would be kind of weird, but
Oh, yeah.
great opening to a movie though. God damn.
Wait, which movie?
Close Encounters of the Third
Yeah.
Kind.
Yeah, I
Such-
should watch that.
Yes, you should.
Sonoran?
Never seen
Sonoran?
it.
The Sonora Desert. That's not the same one.
No,
Um,
that's
Mojave.
well, that's a
Gobi.
huge desert. That's spawn because that's
Chihuahua
all the way
Desert?
up
Desert.
into New Mexico
The Sonoran Desert.
and Arizona.
I found the giants, the skeleton giants. Took that.
Mm.
Picture. We did a episode on that.
Right.
One.
Yeah, we did. I want researchers to do is to get that LiDAR to see what's underneath. After that, we'll go from
It's
there.
probably not going to work.
Well, that's
What-
probably true. But
Who's to say that would work if electronics don't work in that zone?
yeah,
Right?
or even like sample cores. I would love for them to just like get one huge core as far down as possible and see what's just even down there. Because if there is a large concentration of meteors there, there was one suggestion that because the meteors have a lot of metal in them, that could contribute to the electromagnetism. I don't know.
Bring that
Yeah, yeah.
article back up because the next part was about what they found. The first results from the investigations: high levels of iron ore have been found there. Yes, scientists have discovered this is a site of meteoric activity. It raises speculation that perhaps anomalous magnetic features are related to minerals present in the ground. Furthermore, if the high magnetism is a result of natural causes, it is possible that many iron-containing objects from the universe have strayed into the far reaches of this Earth. Doesn't really say much. It says a whole bunch without saying anything. This is basically like, don't go there.
Yeah, the rest of this is about like, don't try and travel there because you can't really do it.
You're welcome to try to camp there. Good luck. I believe it actually
You might
says
die.
that. Yeah.
Like it just looks like hell. It's hot. There's not a lot of shade. There's no one around.
Oh, let's go.
Mhm.
Things you need to know before traveling. There is no village or any accommodations for you to spend 1 to 2 days there unless you're brave enough to camp in the area. Nevertheless, I think you may need a permit to stay at the spot. Also, you can see the Laboratorio del Deserito nearby on the map, but don't be wrong. It's an institute for the scientists mainly. It isn't a hotel, and you aren't allowed to stay there. It's weird that I cannot find a direct way from point to Zona del Silencio on Google Maps. Instead, you can search a direction from your point to the laboratory. Then you will be able to go to the area. According to the travelers who visit the area, if you camp, a compass as a backup, if you what does that say?
Carry a compass.
Carry a compass is backup tool.
It's backup tool. You'll still aren't able to use it because the arrow of the compass will not rotate correctly. Consequently, it may cause you confusion of direction and you will get fucking lost. Yeah.
You don't want to be lost in a desert
No.
like that. I mean, I
No.
went hiking in Arizona by my mom's house and the sun went down a little bit. Like it was, and the entire area changes the way it looks. Like I'm really good at directions. And you think you know the direction you need to go. And I got lost with my mom in the desert and that sucked. And the sun was
That's
going down.
scary.
It was
Oh.
getting dark and dude, it was creepy, man. Like
Yeah.
we had to like trudge through the desert. We weren't even on a path anymore. I was like,
Wow.
I saw the lights of the city in the sky, so like we have to go that way. That's definitely the way to go because of the lights. And we found the road because of that.
Thank goodness. Oh my
Yeah, I mean,
God.
Basically,
if
there's
you're
no
if
way
you're
to get
out
out
there, yeah, if you're out there in the middle of nowhere, there's no town nearby.
There's no one like
You're not
even
gonna
to
see
get
lights in the
in.
sky.
There's like a really horrible looking gate with like barbed wire.
Right. The horse gate. Found a bunch
Oh
of
yeah, there's
horses after
horses in there.
that. Yeah,
Well, there's
was.
that ranch that's
Mutated
hit,
horses.
hit by a meteor twice.
Really?
So the same property was hit by a meteor twice, once in 1938, once in 1954. That
Wow.
is that's astronomical odds.
Very. There might be something under it. We should check.
That's like
Thing
finding a
pulling it in.
trustworthy male feminist.
Well, I'm confused why they don't tell us why the rocket ended up there if they checked it out. How
that's
did it
weird.
get redirected that far away?
Yeah, I think you would look into that. So maybe
Rocket's
they
like,
did.
I'm just trying to go on vacation, man.
I heard Mexico has nice beaches.
Which way
I
to
don't like the white
Tijuana?
sands.
Is this the way to TJ? Is this where we find the pharmacist, the Mexican pharmacist?
I
White
heard there's
sands
cheap
was white
insulin down
sands,
here.
man.
Real life vibranium, maybe.
There you go.
Who knows? Who knows?
150
I
west.
think it's probably a scientific explanation, but it could be a scientific explanation that creates fucking worm. Well, it will be. If they prove wormholes, it will then be scientific and not, science fiction.
Right.
Well, and that's why, like, when in that Ancient Aliens episode, they started off with the Bermuda Triangle, and obviously we know a lot about the creepy, weird stuff that happens within that area. I don't think planes necessarily fly through maybe the zone of silence.
Guy, that pilot Francisco, whatever his last name was.
Close that.
Well, his plane, he had to land his plane because like he couldn't. All his equipment went nuts.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that happens over the Bermuda Triangle quite a bit.
So they avoid that area, right?
Yeah.
Or try to if they can.
Well, Flight 19 has not been found. They've thought they found for the Bermuda Triangle. They've thought they found it many a times, and they have not found it. And there was also a search and rescue plane that went out right after it that also disappeared. So I think it was 27 or 37 pilots dead, gone forever, and just completely
27.
disappeared. And they went, the search and rescue. Yeah, it was the 40s, but they went out pretty quick. The weather wasn't terrible, and it was, they didn't find anything. It's pretty weird.
That's really creepy.
How do you lose 27 people?
That is a lot of people. And
They
I mean,
lost
like, it makes me think of a little bit of the MCU when they like go through all those like different portals and get stuck there.
Here's the thing: is these are analog planes, by the way. They're not connected, so they're following each other. It's very unusual for all five to have instrument problems,
and for them to crash or something like that and not find any trace of any of them.
That's if they crashed.
That's
You
if
know?
they crashed.
If they went through
Maybe
a
they're still
portal.
flying around. Maybe they pop out next year.
That would be
Oh my God. Or
insane.
traveled back in
Yeah.
time. Who
Maybe
knows?
maybe they landed, amongst
65 million
dinosaurs.
years ago.
Yeah,
They went to a different dimension altogether.
maybe they did.
Mhm.
Maybe they landed somewhere where there's good Star Wars and good Star Trek.
Nah, are
Somebody
you
should
jealous
write
that
that
was
story. That
true?
sounds like a great story.
We should be
Many
so
people
lucky.
have.
Good
They
for them.
Have you
Good
not,
for them.
Garrett? Have you seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. They
That's a
incorporate
classic.
them.
That's like
Actually, have you
it's
seen it?
that and Jaws.
All right, good.
on
Close
rotation.
Encounters of the
I'm not
Third
alone here.
Kind.
I'm not
I'm
alone.
gonna
Yeah.
add that to my list.
You haven't seen Close Encounters, Adam?
No, I know.
Oh, you absolutely should,
What makes
man.
that
But
movie?
what am
If
I
you
waiting
could-
for?
I mean, you're in Sweden. I don't know if they play these movies in the theater, but every once in a while they'll play it at a theater. That's the last time I saw it, was at a theater, and it was awesome.
Cool.
Because the music's so great,
Ah.
and it's just a really great movie.
The cover of it looks like
It's great
cool and
acting.
creepy.
Great
It's-
potato sculptures.
It's a rare movie that Spielberg wrote.
Ah.
Close Encounters is shit. Love that movie. So
Got
there's weird places in the world. And I,
Mhm.
because we were kind of, the Zone of Silence didn't offer very much. I watched a couple of episodes where it kind of went into the missing 411 thing with planes missing, people disappearing, and there's triangles everywhere. The interesting one I found was the Michigan Triangle, and they talked about this. So I watched Unexplained with William Shatner. I love how he narrates that show too. It's so William Shatner. But they did discuss the Michigan Triangle. Yes, there's a Michigan Triangle.
I never heard of this.
Yes,
Over
there's
Lake
a-
Michigan.
There is. Did you know they found a stone circle at the bottom of Lake Michigan, what they believe is a stone circle?
Yeah, you mentioned this
How
before
far
the show,
down?
and I
There's
can't
also-
wait to hear more about this.
There's also, I think, in a different location, there's been a monolith found at the bottom of one of the Great Lakes as well.
What?
So is this the triangle you're talking
it.
about?
That's it.
I was
Ooh.
born on the water of Lake Michigan.
You were?
Were
Yeah.
you born
Was
in
your
the
mom fishing or
triangle?
something?
No, there's a hospital on Lakeshore Drive in Chicago, and Lakeshore Drive is the
Oh.
road that runs along the water.
That's your mom just went out fucking fishing one day and just
I had to
She
give
dove
birth.
in.
the water broke.
My son will be a Michigan Lake Michigan baby.
Gosh. Okay. So what are the sides that it's kind of pointed on? Because
I'm gonna have to find it. Give me
okay.
Trying to find a good like breakdown of it.
Is that Sheboygan?
Hey,
Right here.
where my wife's from.
Sheboygan.
That's where my wife's
Sheboygan.
from. Sheboygan,
So-
Wisconsin.
Because Wiki is
Benton
good
Harbor.
source.
Makes me think of
Buddington.
Home Alone. Home Alone 2.
Oh, here. The triangle stretches from Ludington to Manitowoc down to Benton Harbor.
Michigan.
And apparently lots of disappearances of planes and ships. Unexplained. I wonder if it's on the ley line. One of the ley lines.
The first strange happening occurred in the 17th century. The vast majority of eerie situations that people reference from the Lake Michigan Triangle have occurred between 1850 and 1950, with a few more modern instances to consider. However, the first reported happening took place in 1679. In the latter half of the 17th century, the Great Lakes played a pivotal role in the fur trade route. In 1679, the mighty trade ship Lee Griffith embarked on its maiden voyage. The ship was intended to use the Great Lakes to navigate the most efficient northwest passage to the Far East in hopes of expanding the fur trade to Japan and China. I don't know how they're going to do that. However, the ship never made it past Lake Michigan's icy waters. It seemingly disappeared within the confines of the Lake Michigan Triangle. And while it's widely assumed that the ship sank between the depths of the fake lake, no trace of its wreckage, its cargo, or its crew were ever recovered.
So again, they go into magnetic anomalies, and I'll show you a picture of the stone circle. I mean, it's like everything. It's questionable now. I don't know about that picture on the left. I don't think that's a legit picture. The one on the right is the carving of the mastodon, but I can't here, I'll try to zoom in on it. You see that little hash mark on the top, Adam?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
The back left.
There's like those little hash marks that we saw in the unknown caves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and countless like prehistoric human caves from like 100,000 years ago.
That's insane.
That's so cool.
This is why the sea is such a huge source of information if we can
2007?
go there.
Yep.
This is, yeah.
Dude.
Again, all the underwater archaeology was a guy looking for sunken ships.
9,000 years. Yeah, sure. Bullshit.
Honestly,
Go back
I
up.
couldn't.
Wait, hold on. Go back up.
I wouldn't even be able to recognize it as like an
Let me
elephant, but I can
Right
see
here.
it once you show it.
Right there? Right there?
Yeah, I want to see it. It said somewhere. I saw 9,000 years. I was reading this.
I see it right there. Okay. It's on the bottom paragraph.
Okay, yeah. Some scientists and experts have assumed the structure could be 9,000 years old. Bullshit. This is
Why
before
are you assuming that?
Younger Dryas. What? Yeah. What? Assuming, huh? Making an ass out of you and me. That's what you do.
That's right. Well, the Lake Michigan didn't fully form until after the Ice Age. All right, there was ice up there, so
That's
Right.
how they formed. That's how the water got there.
No, well, did it predate? Yeah, exactly. That's how the fucking lakes formed. As we already know, the structure could be 9,000 years old. This is suggested by the radiocarbon dating, but nothing could be said for sure. Why? Because some other discoveries have only made things more complex. One of the stones has a figure that looks very much like a mastodon hand covered on it. Now we all know that the mastodon is an animal that went extinct 8,000 AD. That means 10,000 years ago. Humans were not there when mastodons roamed the earth. Well, that's
supposedly.
Well,
This proves
obviously-
it wrong.
this-
This proves that they
it,
were. What the fuck?
Well, Adam, obviously the mastodon was doing a self-portrait. Okay.
that's
its-
what it is.
It's
It's a little Mastodon.
It was
Picasso doing a
Jack.
little-
It was a
He was
mastodon.
drawing.
Oh my
He was
god!
drawing his
drawing
lover.
rose.
Little Van Gogh
was.
mastodon.
Drawing his boyfriend.
What a
I've
So
never
how-
actually
like-
seen that movie, by the way.
But
How
as
would you
we-
date this? How
But
would you
as we
date
can
it?
see, it is hand carved on a stone, right? How is it even possible when mastodons went extinct by the time man wouldn't have carved on the stone? Well, you know, we know man was before here long before then.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the only way to get down there, by their hypothesis, is somebody on land had a stone, carved this into the stone, then went over the water, and then dropped it in the water.
That's
One
it.
day,
That's the
this is
only
gonna,
way.
I
this is
knew
gonna mess
it.
those future folks up.
They not
They're gonna
only
go
dropped it in
crazy,
the water,
man.
they dropped it in the water in a circle to extra fuck with us.
Oh
So,
yeah, they precisely figured out how to drop right perfect circle.
This stone was found
right.
found in the Michigan Stonehenge, inside the circle. That's cool.
yeah.
I can't believe I've never heard of this.
This is the best troll job ever, if that's the case.
Respect. That's all I
Mhm.
gotta say is respect. If you think that this was all, you're sadly mistaken. The plot only thickens from here. As if it was not enough, another mystery comes in. When you think about it, the structure has to be man-made, right? In support of that theory, we can say that no natural formation could be this measured. Also, if it was not if it was natural, what will you say about the mastodon carving on the stone? Now we all know this lake has been there since after the Ice Age. So we have to ask how humans of that time even placed the stones like that underwater. All
Right.
this could only point towards one thing: the structure must be older than the Ice Age. Before the Ice Age began, the lake was not there. It was dry. So humans could have easily built the structure. It is that simple, right? The problem, however, is it is not.
Of course.
Well, when did the Ice
It's
Age
pretty
start?
simple to me.
When did the Ice Age start? It's not when did the Ice Age start, is when did the ice get down there far enough to where humans couldn't settle there anymore?
Right.
So I think that's the question. Humans could never have built a structure that complex, as this was well before the Ice Age. Why? Because humans were not skilled enough at the time to even design a structure like this.
Ah.
They had the
Or-
tools
or-
or means needed. So how did they build it? Now, this makes things all the more perplexing. How could a structure like this be built before the Ice Age? Or if it was built after the Ice Age, how was it placed underwater? It makes zero sense.
Well, maybe you were wrong with the assumptions that they didn't have the skills to do this kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
They just do you see how they just kind of labeled that as a fact?
Yeah, and then they
moved on?
they move on. They wouldn't that imply that you might be incorrect? That
Right.
they do have the skills, because literally all of the signs
It's
point
there.
towards that.
Right.
How old's this article? Just out of curiosity.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Also, I want that piston ring. That's pretty cool.
2021, September 20th,
Who's hosting this? Whose ads are these?
2000 anniversary of Professor Tolkien's death.
Is this Gary? Gary's got
That's
these open.
The
X-rays, I think.
backpack. Oh no, it's
Or
not
it's
me.
X-rays?
Oh
No.
no, it's scary.
I think it's Gary.
Masks and backpacks.
Look, get that hat and the mask and
Is
the
that
ring.
a ring?
Yeah, it's a ring. It's a little
It's
That's
like a
pretty-
cyberpunk ring.
Scary
Dude.
ring.
I'm not shopping for any of this shit, but at least it's not like fucking bikinis or something like that. You know, I don't-
French
Right.
maid
Weird.
outfits. I
that looks like a Cecil hat on the right.
was
It
about to
does a
say.
little bit, yeah.
It totally is. Not as cool though.
Not
Keep
as
going.
cool. Some
There it
facts
is.
about the Lake Michigan Stonehenge. While lots of things about this site are yet to be known, we have been able to know a few. Here are some sure shot facts about the underwater stones. The structure is made out of several stones. These stones have proper circular placement. This is something only humans can do. Next is the carving of the mastodon seen on the stone.
Hold on. I'm sorry. That first statement, I'm having an issue with, because we just found out that 250,000 years ago there was a species of animals that weren't humans that were able to do things that we thought that only we could do. So who's to say that they didn't evolve to the point that they were able to do these things and place a bunch of rocks in a circle?
That's the
when they
one
when they
thing-
buried their dead.
Bro, I don't
and
like the way
they
that makes
liked
me feel,
tools.
so I
That's
can't
the
believe
one
it.
thing we need to figure out is how many hominids have been found in North America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Well, we just talked about this in Oregon, right? They found 18,000 years ago. You said.
yeah, that's not even near the oldest. The oldest goes like back 100,000 years, over 100,000 years now
In North America.
in North America. The science isn't settled on that, but it's
course not.
pretty fucking clear. So the question is, were there like little chimpanzee-like creatures running around North America? I don't know. What's the one giant? I'm going to say the name wrong. The one they think Bigfoot is Giantopithecus or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know if that was in North America either. And if it was, when was the last sign of it? But as we learned from that, and you're absolutely right, Adam, what we learned from that documentary is there is forms of bipeds out there that we don't even know existed yet. We haven't found them yet. And because there was a giant cataclysm here, it kind of literally wiped it wiped the ground off to the bedrock and below the bedrock in some places. Like it just
look at Grand
scraped
Canyon,
away the earth. Yeah. Well, Jimmy kind of brings up a good point. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of weird that the Colorado River, which carves out the Grand Canyon, is supposed to be 5-6 million years old.
The Mississippi is what, 70 million years or something crazy?
Is older. The Nile is older. So why haven't they dug out a canyon?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a very logical explanation, but I think it's a good question.
Like there was already a riverbed there, and it just got really dug in by a massive
flood.
Levels of
just so
water that went through it. I don't know.
Around the vicinity where, again, just go to Google Maps and look at the Western United States. It looks like it's been completely washed out. Completely washed out. So, and we'll look at it later after this. I'll show you. If you just back up enough, it looks like the whole fucking thing melted.
Yep.
Next is the carving of the mastodon. The mastodon is carved using tools that were not around before the Ice Age. So if it is hard, if not impossible, to carve it before the period began. The third fact is the structure can't be just 9,000 years old, despite the radiocarbon dating, which is based on the biological shit on it, not the stone itself. It got to be older than that. It's got to be older than that, but how much exactly? That's the question we still don't know that and have the answer to. The structure is a great asset to mankind. It is among the most interesting discoveries of all time. If researched right, it could help us get insights into many unknown aspects of human history, which science, for not the most part, but for a large part, doesn't want to do for some reason. They're just really stuck in that. Nope, civilization 6,000 years old.
Yep.
I
can't stand the phrase "the science is settled."
Fuck that.
Science is never
Science
settled.
never, yeah.
Oh,
science is about questioning everything.
Now I'm busted. Damn it.
Oh shit!
Look at that.
Which one? The shoes? You order those? You're wearing those right now, aren't you?
The shoes were on sale. Okay.
Wow, you've got some interesting taste.
The structure, residing nearly 12 feet underwater, is an amazing find it in itself. Needs a little editing in this article.
Wait, it's only 12 feet under the water?
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's not that far.
That's not very far at all. You could snorkel down there.
I feel like that's possible. We could have done something like that. I'm rethinking this whole thing now. That's 12 feet.
Well, it just depends. 12 feet might not seem far, but maybe it was more. Maybe
12 feet or not, it's still a mastodon, which went extinct.
Thank you.
And if the carbon dating of the organic material says 9,000 years old, that still shows a lot of things that don't really make sense.
Also, like nothing megalithic. Yeah. What no matter what time, nothing megalithic was supposed to happen at all in North
Right,
America.
everything was dead. Everything was dead, though.
Everything was
also
dead
the
or within
megafauna. They were dead at that point.
We should, if it's only 12 feet, we should like ban off that area, drain it, let it dry, and then take that rock, get some stuff from under it, and test that. Then you could find out how old it is for sure.
Maybe
Not what shit on top of the rock, not around the rock, under the rock. What was under that rock?
Want to go digging?
Let's go.
It's only 12 feet. Let's go down there, dang it.
It's only 12 feet. All we have to do is learn how to dive into really fucking cold water, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't be
Right.
that
Don't
bad
dive,
if you
you
go in
build-
the
you build,
summer.
like, a
It's
thing
not
around
that
it.
like it should be fine.
Yeah.
Do what you do.
know how-
What do they do when they build
sounds pretty
bridges?
expensive.
X-ray
What
girl,
do
I
they do
think
when they build bridges?
mission for you. I am all for it. Let's crowdfund it.
I
Sending
have
X-ray
to
down
learn
there.
how to scuba dive. My brother is a teacher, so I'll make him come with me. And
So
So
we'll
you're
go
gonna need a
diving.
dry
closer.
suit training, which is like a whole nother level of scuba diving.
Okay, if we crowdfund it,
not
I heard
cold.
it's very expensive. We bought a tank of like oxygen tank, and I think it was a couple $100, and I don't want to have to do that.
Crowdfund. Send X-ray girl down to the bottom.
I think this also could be a really bad idea if I die.
12 feet.
Do we see an actual drop, like a above shot of it? Because I found one. It's
Yes,
pretty
yes.
cool.
I've got one coming up right now.
So I think it's these 6 stones
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
are the
Interesting.
hinge.
I
Well,
wouldn't
isn't it
trust carbon
weird?
dating though with this.
I think the most interesting thing at Skinwalker is the spiral circle, the spiral stone.
Yeah,
circle.
the one that they.
I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
by far the
Top of
most
that ridge.
interesting thing there that like I didn't know was there until I started watching the show. It's like that's kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important. Why would
barely
you
talk about it.
Yeah, they barely
Also-
talk about it.
The GPS data from that guy who had been working at the ranch and then left, and then like from before when Bigelow was
the
owned it.
Bigelow group. Yeah, I know.
And then he came back and they were like checking his GPS data and it was like spiraled into the ground.
Oh, that was
Like,
screwed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like-
underground.
I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, how does that happen? That's kind of weird. That's also something.
Well, I would love for them to
out to me.
catch like because there was all that talk of poltergeist activity because that would really go into the whole
Oh, at the
total
house.
realities melding into each other theory. You know, you're hearing a completely different language being
Yeah.
spoken to you from above and footsteps and stuff. And I've always thought poltergeist activity was just. I never thought it was a ghost or a demon. I thought it was just something from another reality punching through and wreaking
Right.
havoc and maybe not even knowing it. You know.
Yeah, I can
but,
see
like,
that also.
poltergeist activity, they have like actually pretty good video out there if you look of drawers, like kitchen drawers just fucking flying open and silverware flying out and shit. Like that's some of the we're gonna do spooky episodes. Somebody asked for these at Anime Matsuri. Halloween is spooky
Let's
season.
see.
We're gonna get all into that. I can see
All the spooks.
Adam's excited.
Halloween, or it'll be the 29th in October. It'll be fun.
Halloween's the 29th. Did you change
Oh no,
Halloween?
Well, our
Sunday.
show would be-
Sunday.
You have the
It'll
power
be on
to
the
do that?
29th.
Shift the calendar.
Sorry, we're changing things. It's
Wow.
hashtag my truth.
Oh god, yeah.
Forbidden
X-rays-
Frontier
X-rays
episode.
gone
is
Kids are gonna
down.
29.
start showing up to your house at the 29th going, where's my candy, bitch?
I don't care if the porch light's turned off. I want my candy.
Give it to me.
I want the full candy bars.
Yeah,
So the Lake
not those
Michigan
little
thing-
fun size ones.
Kind of cool. Here's a weird disappearance that was in the triangle. The triangle.
The Michigan one.
Yeah, the Michigan one.
Okay.
Stephen Kubaki. Not Bukaki, Kubaki.
I wasn't thinking.
That
Yeah,
was a
but-
joke, by the way. I'm gonna
No,
give myself.
no,
Thank you. Thank you.
he's been at Anime Matsuri all
It's a
weekend.
very
so.
serious show. Okay. So there was a guy who, for some reason, wanted to go on okay. Actually, girl, you're gonna have to explain this. You were born in Michigan. You were born near Chicago. Adam, you're gonna have to fucking explain this shit. What kind of motherfucker goes on a walk on a frozen lake?
Oh, for fun. People do that all the time. Whether you should do it or not, it's
Um,
questionable, but
That's
know.
When
dumb. Don't do it.
No, it is absolutely dumb because even if other people test it, things change day by day. But people go like ice skating all the time on lakes and stuff.
Oh, he was
In my
cross-country skiing.
in my elementary school, when I was, I think maybe 8, I was in elementary school, and we actually did cross country skiing in gym class in the
Oh,
wintertime.
really?
Yeah, so I actually did this with my class. Like we would cross country ski across like basically, like the yard of, I mean, it was a huge field. It was a massive field where my elementary
There
school
wasn't a
was.
lake.
No, it wasn't a lake.
Oh,
But I
ice
mean,
snow truckers.
there's something about
They're
cross country
crazy.
skiing and people. Well, look, I from my own personal experience with trying to do things that are exciting. Like I thought I would love skydiving. When I was a kid, I always wanted to skydive. And eventually as an adult, I went skydiving and it was fucking boring. But by that point, by the point that I had gone skydiving, I had become a skater and
So
then
what
I
was
was
boring
a pro
about it?
skater.
It was just like
was,
once you got over the whole. I jumped out of the plane. It's like, oh, I'm just kind of here.
I thought I would be excited. I was excited when the plane took off, and I was like, "All right, this is cool." I'm in the plane, and I'm like looking down, and he's like, "All right, you can jump," and I'm like, "All right," and I jumped, and I was like, "All right, oh, it's just a good view." I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't get me hyped, right? I didn't fear that it wasn't gonna open, but like I've gone like 70 miles an hour down a mountain on a skateboard, right? And I was like, if I fall off,
That's great. That's crazy.
If I go off the
really
edge,
different.
I could die. Like I was way more.
You will die.
You feel
yeah.
safer.
That the adrenaline that I was getting at that is so different from and then by the time I went and then I finally skydived and I was like, all right, yeah, cool.
They should have the first pulley to open up the chute should always be wrong. It should just be like,
oh shit,
and then it would make you feel like, oh man,
that might actually spike a little adrenaline.
Or they put like 5 on you, and you're like, pick one. You gotta find it.
Hurtling down a hill on skis or a snowboard or
right.
or like when you're skating, you hit fucking a rock in the road,
dude. A small one.
I lost
broke my fingers.
You can actually see some of the scars. Actually, this is all scar tissue.
Story, yeah, it's messed up.
And this is a new tattoo. I lost a bunch of my tattoo before. This is a redo because half of it was missing because I lost it in the road. I dated a professional skydiver. She taught skydiving for a while, and she was dating a dude, and her like her former boyfriend, whatever. They were both skydivers, and they would go open up closer and closer to the ground because they were like chasing that shit.
Adrenaline.
So like,
you know what?
So like
drugs.
So this, well, this
cross country skiing.
This isn't that exciting. Like this makes sense. Like this is nothing. Cross country skiing for a few days, end up missing. Yeah, it was like, well, if you're going over a frozen lake,
put on Fantastic Planet and drop some acid. You freak out, man. Trust me.
He's not a doctor. This is not medical advice.
This is not medical advice.
We don't recommend actually
more acid than
dropping acid.
99% of all doctors out there. So just saying. The disappearance and reappearance of Stephen Kubaki case. He went cross-country skiing for a few days and ended up missing for nearly a year.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is weird.
How did you miss for a year?
The instance of a missing individual is perhaps one of the most frequent occurrences. While some of these individuals were discovered, the fates of the remainder remain unknown. However, another type of missing person scenario is more unusual. The individual vanished. Months of searching were fruitless until it was concluded that the individual was deceased. However, a short while later, not really short, if you're like his parents, the individual reappeared with a grand narrative. Steve Kubaki was a student of Hope College, a small private Christian university located in the southeastern side of Lake Michigan in February 1978 when he vanished. He'd gone on a solo cross-country skiing expedition intending to stay for a day or two, but never returned. He left a 200-yard footprint trail in the snow stretching from the lake's edge. The one path abruptly terminated, prompting investigators to infer that Kubaki perished somewhere beneath a thick layer of unbroken ice in the lack of any other signs. Steve Kubaki went missing in the Michigan area of the United States of America in an area known as Lake Michigan Triangle, which stretches from, oh my God, Manitowoc, Wisconsin to Ludington, Michigan, and south to Benton Harbor. Numerous strange occurrences have been attributed to the triangle beginning in 1891 when a scooter named the Thomas Hume set sail across Lake Michigan in search of lumber. Find out where they were. The Hume and her crew of 7 seamen vanished. There was never even a sign of the boat discovered. Oh God, I don't want to.
Similar like the other story that I read earlier.
Yep. I want to sign up.
Read the full story.
Post it in the private chat. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, let me find it. Yeah, I can. I might
just open it.
It's fucking medium.
On
I
break.
mean, all you gotta do is sign up, right? I think I
Give
signed
them
up.
suckers a sign up.
just
Don't give them
open
your
it in Brave.
information, bro.
Yeah, I got it coming.
Okay.
I'm on a fucking laptop and I didn't even bring my mouse or anything, dude. Sorry.
See if I can crack it.
Crack it. Don't smoke crack. Don't smoke crack.
Do my hacking skills over here.
Mm.
Oh, I did it.
Atta boy. Take it away.
Beat me to it.
Well, Adam should probably read it because Adam reads better than both of us because he went finish school.
I didn't finish school. I've just been reading for 3 years straight.
This whole time?
Oh, well, you said breeding. I said, no, Garrett,
barely.
you've been reading.
Oh,
I've been breeding.
Garrett's been
Garrett's
breeding.
been breeding. You've been
Right.
reading, Adam.
Right.
Where do we leave off?
Keep
here
going
we do
down.
This. Other signs. I
going.
think this is where we were, right?
No, at the bottom of the next paragraph.
Thanks,
This
Adam.
one.
Yeah, right after this.
Below the helicopter, go down. Go down.
This is
Keep going
That
down.
helicopter looks really cool.
Someday. Here we go.
Okay. Following Stephen's disappearance, search teams scoured the region in which he was known to have gone. They discovered his skis and poles on the beach of. Wait.
Is this really the bottom? This is the bottom of the story. This is the bottom of the story.
They literally hid one
Got
paragraph.
us.
You would have signed. No, there. It definitely
dot, dot.
continues. Where does it continue, though? Does it not?
Jesus, I can tell you the rest. I can
Just
tell
tell
you.
us the rest. Yeah, tell us the
Just
rest.
tell us the rest. It
Right,
just goes
so-
dot, dot, dot.
He goes missing. They announce him dead. And they just kind of move on. He pops up 14 months later, 20 miles from his parents' house at an aunt's house. It's at some point. He wakes up. His last memory was walking on the ice. He was gone for 14 months. No memory. Pops up at his parents' house. They're overwhelmed with joy, obviously, because they thought.
Was he wearing the same clothes? Like same shit? Like he just
That's a
appeared?
good question. I don't think so.
Is this a fugue state scenario?
A fugue state?
Have you heard of a fugue state? So,
I haven't. No.
Here, I found something.
the lady that
here.
wrote the Murder on the Orient Express, she had a fugue state scenario where she went and disappeared.
Agatha Christie.
Everybody
yes.
was
They
Agatha
did
Christie.
a Doctor Who episode on it.
They were looking for her,
Yes.
trying to find her. Nobody knew where she was. They thought she was dead or something. And then they found her, and she had not had any recollection of disappearing.
Yeah,
she
there's-
was going
there's-
for like a whole weekend saying
tons
she
of
was
these.
somebody else.
There's one
Yeah, there's
guy
a
who
lot.
traveled across the country, and it's documented, and he doesn't remember any of it.
Yeah.
He ended up in totally
Weird.
different.
He
clothes,
lived somewhere
so-
for like 2 years.
Yeah.
A completely different location. Showed up one day. He was, and then there's that one story of another guy that disappeared. Then like
Pull that
500
back
miles
up.
away,
Pull that back up.
he was hit by a car, and he was dressed as like in military clothes for some reason. And they
Oh.
never figured that one out because he had died, obviously.
Mm.
But yeah, that's a thing that can happen to the human brain. As you can
14 months
just forget
later,
who
he
you
woke
are.
up in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, 700 miles away from where he vanished. With no
What the
memory of the past year, the government has tried to cover it up, but even this day, there is very little information on it. Kubaki hasn't exactly been vocal about his experience, but you can't deny it happened. Kubaki's story supports the theory that in between points of Manitowoc, Wisconsin, Ludington, Michigan, and Benton Harbor, Michigan, lies a smaller, lesser-known Bermuda Triangle. That's a stretch. I would just say maybe the guy got picked up by aliens. Maybe he bumped his fucking head. Maybe he just didn't like life and tried it for a year. Don't know. Of sorts. Now it seems the triangle has taken another soul. There have been many accounts of airplane disappearances and shipwrecks in this specific area described above, with unsatisfying explanations. On the same night of the disappearance of the Northwest, so there was a Northwest airline, 58 souls lost, disappeared.
What?
50, yes. Strange bright lights were seen above Lake Michigan. Now that is a very similar thing we heard about the zone of silence, strange lights. Bermuda Triangle. Columbus himself saw strange lights. He is the first person to document anomalies over the Bermuda Triangle, was Christopher Columbus, who was not the first person to discover the United States. It was rediscovered probably about the 15th time after being completely colonized by the Atlanteans, by the way. Just going to fucking say it. I don't care. Just going to say it.
I believe it.
Plato talked about the continent, okay? Yeah. Atlantis was an island. The continent.
My buddy Andrea
was America.
And he was showing me on Google Earth. This was years ago. Back when we were basically roommates. I was living in Maryland. And he was showing me this stuff about Tartaria, right? He's obsessed with Tartaria and like all this like ancient a civilization that history seems to try to delete, essentially. But he was showing me the east coast of America, and in certain areas of the east coast, you can see where there's no civilization. Like the land it's just kind of like rural, forest, whatever, and like river deltas and stuff. And he's like, if you look closely, you can actually see square line and straight lines, almost as if there were docks there, and you look at and you compare to I don't know a harbor town where everyone who lives on the water has like docks, and like the formation of the way the houses are built with the docks and the lines. It's almost exactly the same as what it looked like in these like out in the middle of nowhere places. And he was showing me, he's like, something was there, right? And I'm like, it seems like there was a civilization here that had
wiped out.
That got wiped out or something.
Well, our
interesting.
Our future guest, Luke Caverns,
next week,
has found he'll go over what he's found and what they've found, what other people have found in the jungles of South America. And, depending on where you are on the East Coast of the United States, the Appalachians are some of the oldest ground. That's one of the, if not the oldest mountain range on Earth. If it's one,
really?
It's one of them. Yeah. So that's some of the oldest.
I've been hiking through the Appalachians.
So the zone of
cool to know.
Silence is like Texas is the bottom, is the bottom, a former bottom of a sea, of an ocean. So it was underwater for most of the time. So apparently you can find tons of fossils there too, of sea creatures, and you can find them all through Texas too. But the Appalachians have been around for a long fucking time. So many things change. And I was talking with you guys about Mohenjo-Daro in India. They didn't know it was fucking there until like a couple hundred years ago, when some villagers knew there was something there, and I think it's called like the Mound of the Dead. I think that's what it translates to. But it wasn't until they started digging it up, they're like, oh, this is a city, and it's not just a city. It's a city with plumbing.
It's massive. It's way bigger. From the
plumbing.
picture, I pulled it up. Like the ruins look huge.
That's crazy.
Like it's a big city.
Well, it's a lot like
small.
It's
like
a lot like in the Yucatan Peninsula, where there's temples and massive city complexes that are completely covered up. That only the locals were like, yeah, there's a town over there, and then they went and checked it out, and there actually is a city that was buried.
Way earlier than the Romans. No, there was a lot of older civilizations where they had toilets. They had running fucking toilets. So that's weird.
The Turkey cities where they had the river going under the houses.
Yeah, David Hatchett
like
Childress has an old book where he goes over this, and there's a whole chapter on like plumbing, on like how do you judge how advanced a civilization is what they do with their shit. And it's a great point. And Mohenjo-Daro was in there, and it's pretty advanced. And it predates the Romans by thousands of years. Thousands.
Crazy.
So, well, minimum age is 1800 BC, but like, you know how they are with their.
Yeah,
I think
this
little wishy-washy.
says 2500 to 1700 BCE.
Yeah. And the Indus Valley civilization, they know a bit about it, but not much. It was advanced, and it's really fucking old. I think it's way older. You just look at the culture of India seems old. It just like their architecture, their art, from even their ancient art, looks like it's been around for a long time. It's just like it's been in development for a long time. Because that's a pretty big jump from a couple of standing stones to like intricate carvings.
The pillars.
The pillar, like it's amazing.
They look like they were lathed, but they're freaking 20 feet tall.
And before Western science came in and started basically encroaching on their culture and poisoning it, they were saying like, no, our shit's old. Our shit's really old.
It's like the Egyptians.
Like the Egyptians. Yeah.
Oh no, it's the Kemet. Who's that? Oh, the people who were here before that built all that shit. Like no,
like,
the Egyptians built it all. Like, but even they're saying that it wasn't them.
Yeah.
Why are we telling? That's so like that.
And they were like, "Hey, Greeks, you don't know better. Bro.
We know better than everyone else." Okay, Western civilization.
Okay.
I know.
God.
And
I say everything keeps getting older. We keep finding that out.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting older. We just have this tendency to deny it and be like, "No, we know exactly what everything is and where we all came from and how we came about and how we figured things out." I don't think so.
What was that about hubris you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, because a precious few academics who like get their little god complexes talking to kids and feeling really powerful and are really, really proud of themselves, or really fucking insecure and can't go, you know what, we were wrong. But if you're like a pure scientist, which there are plenty of out there who are just like, who are genuinely there for the curiosity of it and not for power over kids or some status or making it your fucking identity, would be like, holy shit, this is rad. We get to like this, for one, job security, baby, and it's weird that they don't think of it like that. Not everybody does, by the way, but
that's the thing about, I've been watching more channels of actual scientists and archaeologists, and a few of them do seem excited about these discoveries, like Göbekli Tepe and Marahan Tepe. I watched one where he went to Marahan Tepe, and it's basically there's like 5% of it has been excavated and found out. He was literally just walking around and picking up 12,000-year-old axe heads, and they were literally just on the ground. They were everywhere. He was like, "This looks like an area where they created them," because it was just like all over the ground, all kinds of access.
One of those areas where there's like Göbekli Tepe. I don't know where the location of what you're talking about.
This is Marahan Tepe.
Is there water near there?
There was when the site was made. Yeah.
Yeah. You wonder, like, how do these sites get abandoned and forgotten about? Like, in a much different aspect. When I moved to La Costa when I was a kid, I moved to Carlsbad. I love that fucking. It was while they were still building in Carlsbad. They were still building the suburbs, but it was still pretty much country, and there was adobe structures, like old 1800s adobe structures, and that's where the stagecoach. That was a stagecoach stop, and it wasn't protected at all. Like, we'd climb on it. There's old shells there. There was old like bullet shells and old cans there that have been there for
There's a lot of that in California because of the gold rush. Yeah. There's all these little mines that have been locked off for like 100 years that nobody's gone to because it dried up. They didn't need it anymore, and they just left. And it's in the middle of the forest or in the mountains, and it's so hard to get to.
We hear this bullshit of overpopulation and like things are being overrun, but yet you can just pick up a 12,000-year-old axe head on the fucking middle of the ground. It's like, okay, those two things don't fucking line up.
think that the more validity that they put into that in terms of like the age and whatnot, the gates are going to start closing up around it
Yeah.
when
Oh,
people actually
Yeah.
acknowledge it.
you want to hear what happened
Sure.
to that fucking Adobe structure too? It fucking sucks. So they put a fence around it, and then they build an apartment building around it. So if you're at the apartment building, and if you look through the brush of that apartment building, you can still see it, what's left of it. But they preserved it by just closing it off, and you'll never
You
see
can't
it.
even
again.
access
It's
it.
better than what they did in France with those.
Oh,
Completely build, break it.
Oh, the stones,
name
the
of
standing
it?
stones.
dude,
Yeah,
take
what
the
were they called?
take the stupid oil protester
Forget.
kids and put them over there. Like direct them towards something good. Like
Something good.
stones,
Right.
dipshits.
So stupid.
Or protest modern art. Stop going to the classic art. Glue yourself onto it, like
the banana, the
Whatever
duct
that
tape
ugly
banana.
thing across
Oh.
from the convention center in
Yeah,
Houston.
glue
That
yourself
thing.
onto the Christ in a bottle of pee or something like that. Please do
or that
that.
banana.
There you go. Right.
All
No,
day
thi-
long.
This talk just makes. I was walking through my forest today, and I live right next door to a Viking heritage spot.
Yep.
So like my neighbor is a piece of land that they used to live. So when I walk through my forest, I know in my head I'm like that thousands of years Vikings
People
literally
were
been
here, man.
walking around this spot. And I'm like, man, I need to get one of those magnets on the string and go fishing in my river. I
Yes.
guarantee I'm going to find an axe or a sword or some arrowhead, maybe. Who knows? I don't care. Something. I got to do it, man.
Dude, you have to
Yeah.
do that. Oh my god.
I know.
It'd be so
Yep.
you fill your house with like
Get
old
sword,
rusty
shit.
fucking
arrows
Viking
and-
swords and shit. That'd be
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the coolest
A
thing ever.
shield. If you brought a shield up,
That'd be
Oh my
really
goodness.
cool.
wow.
It'd be so red. Well, the wood would probably be rot, but
Yeah, it would just be the
the outer ring.
You can
Iron or
replace the
something.
wood.
Then I'd have to like make it.
Find
Finish
a
it up.
car. You'll find a car. That's yeah.
Pull up a car.
What
It's
is
a
this?
Viking. It's a Viking car.
I knew it.
It's like Viking horns on the front cover. It's like,
Yeah.
did they really have cars? Guess so.
Guess so. Well, there's like that's another subject for a show. We can like go back to the ancient artifact, out of place artifacts. It's a fun one. Spark.
Yeah.
plug.
You guys can come out and we can go freaking hunting.
Hell yeah. Let's
We can
do
go
it.
to the
Get our
the
magnets,
Swedish,
throw it out
the
there.
Swedish stones.
Dude,
They're only
we
like
are-
2 hours from me.
We are only a couple of weeks away
I can't wait.
from the UK.
That's wild.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Woo!
I can't
I'm
wait.
going to the UK.
Stonehenge.
We're going to Stonehenge.
Going to
Yup.
fucking
We
Stonehenge.
are
Going
going
to
to Stonehenge.
castles.
We will be live if we can.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
if
think
the
we should
internet
live
is out
stream
there.
from Stonehenge. I'm sure we.
If we don't have Wi-Fi, I mean, what are we gonna do?
We're definitely gonna
Star-
record a video.
Starlink? We're definitely
That'll
gonna.
happen.
I don't
140p
think-
from our phone.
We'll just stream. I have a little Wi-Fi box.
We can record it. I mean, I'd like to stream. So one of us will record it just in case, and one of us will stream.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Okay. Gonna be fun.
WG has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for $50. WG. Another thing they found in Mohenjo-Daro that WG was telling us about, and I believe it was Jordan, correct, WG, was vitrified pottery. So not heated pottery by a human, pottery that had been melted to such an extent that they estimate it was 4,000 degrees.
Wow.
4,000 degrees, something they could not produce
What?
back then.
It's pretty hot.
So they think it was an explosion. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Jordan with WG is they found a site where something very similar happened. So it could be an airburst, like
Is this
the-
the same place that they were irradiated?
that's Mohenjo-Daro. So
Okay,
that's why a
that-
lot of people thought there was like an atomic bomb went off, but you can get
Right,
something
right.
very similar from an
Airburst.
airburst.
Makes everything glass.
Ah.
Tiberius 411 for 50 Canadian pesos says appreciative of a channel challenging corrupt academia. Looking forward to more content. I'm sure academia just loves us for it too.
Yeah.
Key to content creation: have no shits to give. That's just the best way to go. No fucks to give. Don't care. Zorbu has come to probe us all for 20.
Hey,
Zorbu.
Zorbu's long 8-114-301A supervised the probing of subject Quarterblack. Got very weird during the procedure because he looked back over his shoulder, winked, and blew a kiss. The whole crew. It's a crew.
Hey, if you're gonna come get me, I'm gonna make it weird for all of us.
Zorbu's long log supplemental. No more man bun abductions. That makes me think of the joke Gore told during our panel, Garrett.
Oh yes.
Oh my
That was a
god, that
good
was a
joke.
great joke.
is that where you were shocked that it came from his mouth?
Yes.
I watched that YouTube panel. It's funny.
I was like, I was not expecting that from Gore. Zorbu.
Was he Frank Gore at the time though, or
No.
Yeah, he had transitioned to Frank Gore.
Oh.
That's what it was. It's his dark
Oh.
side.
Devil's Tower, the location Zorbu's people first met with Earthling scientist. Also, Devil's Tower, the deuce I left in the John after eating a
Aw. Zorbu,
Also, know the name of the probe that they used on Garrett.
the Devil's,
Devil's
Tower.
Dang, that sounds spiky and scary.
Oh my god,
Hence the wink.
Probably hot.
kinky.
And he winked at the whole crew. It was the entire crew observing it.
I'm gonna make it all weird, man.
Wasn't an intimate probing.
Oh, I made it intimate.
It was a rememberable.
This is very sterile. I gotta make this.
Oh my god.
Gerald Armstrong for $5. Gary just got on, but did you hear about the supposed face peeler aliens who are attacking villages in Peru? I did briefly hear about that.
Right, I heard about this.
I want to
They
go
like
to Peru.
take their
That sounds
faces,
terrible.
like
Did you look
I
it up?
see
Actually, girl?
videos, and all of them seem like bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they all seem like they're like, oh, there's an alien thing going on. Like, we can go viral if we like do some alien shit. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting from that.
okay, I have a Daily Mail
7
article.
foot tall aliens turn out to be illegal gold. Something.
Dubbed face peelers as they plead with authorities to send backup. Terrified villagers in a rural Peruvian district have claimed that they have come under attack by 7 feet tall aliens they have dubbed Los Pelacaras, or the face peelers. Members of the Iquitu tribe from the San Antonio Native community have reported mysterious figures in dark-colored hoods attacking the villagers
Antonio.
who live in the rural district of
Represent.
Alto Nene, northeast of Lima, Peru. After one such attack, a 15-year-old girl had to be taken to the hospital. Oh my god. According to the community leader, Yaro Retigui Davila, the teenager narrowly escaped, but as a result of the struggle, they cut part of her neck. Oh, that's creepy.
I see another story about it. Peru prosecutor accuses illegal gold mining gangs of posing a 7 foot tall alien to terrorize locals.
Wait a
So
minute.
that
Okay,
sounds
whoa.
like
Who in Peru is anywhere near 7 feet tall? These are not tall
Yeah.
people.
Oh my god, that was so loud. Peru.
Yeah, it's two
people are-
Peruvians on top of each other. It's like little rascals.
Yeah.
It's buckwheat and stymie on top of each other. Like, whoa, face peeler.
Oh, hey, Pinky. Let's go mine some
Oh,
gold.
dang.
Wow, they claim that they've been attacked for every night for nearly a month since July 11th.
And the
They
attacks will
have-
keep coming until you get off your land.
Exactly.
Large heads and yellowish eyes. I don't know. I wish there was pictures of it, but it seems like
There
gold.
aren't because it's not real.
yeah.
Raven One for $10 says, "Hey, freaks and players. Wish I could have met you at Matsuri. Have you seen the Y files here on YouTube? As a matter of fact, we have. We love the Y files, by the way.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're good.
Fake moon landing, dark side of the moon, Mount Shasta sightings, thoughts. Anyways, I am very aware of the Mount Shasta is another strange place. Tons of UFO sightings. They actually, it was Greer. It was Stephen Greer who camped outside of Shasta with a bunch of people, and they caught UFOs. They got footage of UFOs. Pretty weird.
Cool.
But Y files. Can we say anything yet, X-Ray Girl?
Not yet. Nothing
No.
confirmed.
Well,
Nothing's
I
happening.
think we
But
just-
we're in the talks.
We're trying. Go subscribe to the Y Files. Good stuff. Good stuff.
that information is compartmentalized.
Well, with us, let's not forget about. Well, I better say that to myself more than anybody.
Let yourself know.
Well, that's what I that's I even try to tell my kids that, like when I'm barking an order, I'm like, okay, that's mainly for me. I say it for you guys, but it's kind of directed at myself, so I don't forget something. Adam, you need a grappling hook you need a grappling hook too, and a separate line for it. Helps you pull things up when magnet fishing. Oh, okay. You can order kits. Good luck, bro. Hope for some awesome finds. Says Hayden 75 for $10. We love Hayden.
Hayden's a good
Thank you,
man.
Hayden.
Hayden out there
Oh yeah.
keeping America going. Church Jack Z has donated $10. Just dropped a 10 and walked away. Like he doesn't give a fuck. Rake and Knight for $2 says, "What's good? Had a great time at Matsuri." I did. A little tired. And I didn't dude, they partied. They can party. My wife can party. She partied pretty hard. But they were going to, some of you guys were going to like 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning?
Yeah.
I can't do that, man.
Well, I
I'm
guess
an
there's
old
a
man.
There's a nerd bar near here. I got invited to by Biggins, who's actually pretty fucking big. He's well named. But I couldn't make it because I was tired. But they all went out and had a good time.
That's
Cecil was
awesome.
fine. Cecil, Gore, a little groggy this morning. Bubba Doom 1 is a traveler. Hail. Bat Boy lives. Bat Boy.
He's in the intro.
He is.
Right when my name pops up, it's wonderful. You know what the vibes that it gives?
What's that?
That kind of vibe.
That kind of vibe? Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
Bad
this.
Boy.
Yeah.
This kind of, yeah. I
like-
should just put the Bat Boy there.
Yeah. You almost don't want to see the rest of the picture. It's like, why does he have that facial expression? Don't want to know. Clark Call for 10 Canadian pesos. This is
Wait, me or Bat Boy?
both.
Sorry.
This is the year. It is not climate change, but the result of Hungo Tonga Hunga Hayapa. What the fuck? You just made me say something racial.
I have no idea what
in Tongan or something like that, didn't you? This century.
That's the most racist shit I've ever heard you say.
Hungo Tonga
You
Hunga.
just said ching chong chung, and I have no idea. Okay, so it's Hunga Tonga Hunga Hayapa. This century's Krakatoa. We will be wet for a few years.
Big volcano.
So there's a big volcano. It's about to go off. The Maui fires were horrible, but there was video going up today, like showing like what caused them. Of course, CNN thought it was climate change, but it turns out it was high winds, 80-mile-an-hour winds, knocked over power lines, set that place on fire.
That's
And
sad.
then with the high winds, if it's dry and you have high winds, you have a recipe for disaster. And that's what
friction.
That's what happens to California, by the way. California catches on fire pretty regularly. Gets bad every few years. It's usually after a few years of drought. In Eastern California, the winds can get up to 70, 80 miles an hour in certain places. And if something catches on fire, then it turns into hell on earth.
And that's been that way for
And it's been that way.
Forever.
just simply. It's just been that way, right? Yeah.
Well, the fires a couple of years ago, but he's like, it's climate change, the end of the world. Well, the last time I heard that is when, if you guys recall, twice in the same decade, the city of San Diego almost burned down. So, like jumping 16-lane freeways, crazy shit, because it gets hot, especially around late September, October. The Santa Ana winds, gets very dry. So it's normal. It's not.
Gavin Newsom said it was climate change, so
He did.
I mean,
you know what he also did? He also
has a
made
coma
fun
or
of
something.
Trump because Trump didn't know what the term was. And he said, well, they didn't rake the forest. And he's all, oh, that's stupid Trump. And then like not 4 months after he fucking said that, California burned down because guess what? They weren't cleaning up. This is something the Native Americans did. We learned from the Native Americans here is you have to clean up the shrubs around the forest because it's kindling and it will burn the fucking place down. They decided
it's part of like the natural cycle.
It is, but they did it because they were trying to preserve the earth and not knowing that you're not preserving the earth by doing it. People are going to vote for him for president someday. It's going to drive me crazy.
I'm sure
it's going to go, he seems so nice and he has good hair.
I don't know about people. Maybe dead
Okay.
ones.
There will be votes.
Isn't it X-ray? I'm not going to throw under the bus.
What?
I would throw X-Ray Girl under the bus.
We were talking about, I think it was you, me, and Az, maybe. This was like a year ago. We were wondering, like, how the fuck could anyone vote for Trudeau? Like, what the hell? And I believed you responded with,
He back then.
he is cute.
No, and I'll back up with some stuff, and this is something that came after just a lot of thought. Back in the days of my youth, I was in school, and during the time I voted, there was a lot of benefits for students as well. And yes, the one thing I remember apparently was that
your vote, basically. Okay,
you did.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do when you're looking.
I think Gavin Newsom looks like a freaking psycho killer, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like American Psycho kind of vibes, dude.
Oh, but California Psycho, he is.
Yeah,
I was,
bro.
Dude,
like
I
Bundy,
lived in San Francisco when he was the mayor. I was around when he was lieutenant governor. The guy doesn't do it. You know, he doesn't debate. He does not fucking debate. So it'll be very interesting to see him debate.
I can't wait.
Anybody who has hair like that, I'm just
no, dude.
No, he's a total psycho. He's a narcissistic psychopath and a typical politician and will do whatever the system wants him to do.
Mm-hmm.
There is supposedly a place like that near Braddock Ranch in Arizona. Yes, the people, the Beyond Skinwalker Ranch guys went there. A sketchy government place that is. It used to be a place where they filmed westerns, and that's actually a very good episode and very similar things to Skinwalker Ranch. Adam Young, thank you for the $5. Tom Brown, as a traveler, thank you. When my grandfather was in the Army, his command officer was at the air base when the Roswell crash happened. He told my grandfather, he saw dead aliens.
What?
There you go. Roswell happened, folks.
Wow.
Every attempt to debunk it has been so, like, if the government hadn't attempted to debunk it, people would be more skeptical than they are now because their attempts to debunk were freaking retarded. Brasidas for $10 on the Streamlabs side said, just got back from Sardinia and saw Monte di Acadi, a Mesopotamian style ziggurat in the middle of the Mediterranean. They're pretty open about having no idea what it is. It was supposedly built by people who were 10 hairs away from baboons. 10 hairs away from baboons. Well, when I was in Sicily, they found some tombs, and it was a recent discovery at the time. This is like 2016. And they're like, we have no idea. This predates everything. We have no idea what they are or what they were or why they were buried. Rake at Night for $2. I live in Arizona, and I had it, and it's rained so much this year. Yeah, it was actually kind of beautiful to drive through. It was great.
Oh man, when Arizona gets rain, the green just explodes. So it looks like a completely different state.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful.
Abigor is a traveler. Thank you very much. Says, man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality, but there is unseen by most an underworld, a place that is just as real. True.
It's the analogy of the cave, right? Like all we see is that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is our reality. There's nothing else. It's just this. It's what's on that wall. That's it.
And then I was watching this video too about quantum physics. You know, the act of observing changes the behavior of certain, not electrons, but realities in life. And like that's a provable fact with quantum physics. And it's like, I don't understand why, but happens. So the act of observing can change the way things behave, and like that's crazy. Like think about Skinwalker, right? They're trying so hard to see what it is, but then when they stop looking, like shit goes down. Stuff like that. I don't know. It's crazy.
It
It's
is.
like there's something like we are unable to see the answer.
Sometimes you're so
Something
narrow-minded
in the universe.
too, because you think you know what could be happening, but then you have to actually open up to the possibilities of different ways of it happening.
Right.
Nope, the science is settled, X-Ray.
Settled.
Everything on that wall is everything in the universe.
We have
Settled.
learned everything. We have achieved peak form.
We
The
do
happy,
not have
You're a
amnesia.
wacko.
Nope.
the Happy Plague Doctor for $5 says Adam should invest in a decent metal detector. I recommend MindLab Equinox.
I'm looking at
The
it.
MindLab Equinox 800. They're waterproof. Ooh.
I know. I'm
Oh.
looking at it. Looks pretty sweet.
Oh, very. Adam, I know you got to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know what time is it.
It's been 2 hours. So.
2:30. Yeah. Dude, I love the show.
I love the show so much.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I love looking at the stuff, read into these things. I am really interested in these circles under Lake Michigan, and this circle in Switzerland, or not Switzerland, Sweden, and it's only a couple hours drive from me. Like I can get there in
Oh,
a
that's
day.
awesome.
Yeah,
Can you
I'm
make
like,
some videos on it or a video?
yeah, I feel like I should go and just like I'm here at the Swedish Stonehenge. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
who
you
knows
should do
what
that.
this is?
Next
I
week.
should do that.
I'm
So
going to do that with Chaco Canyon very soon, by the way.
hell yeah. Well, another awesome episode. I want more information about the Zone of Silence. That it's
Me
weird
too.
because like I was like, oh, I'm looking like I want to find out more. Like who's the expert? Who's the one going down and
No one.
There's just
looking at
nothing.
this stuff? And there's just nothing. And
There's
it's
no
really
scientific
disappointing.
paper that I could find. There's no like
Right.
conventional. There's a lab there. There's got to be something coming out of that lab. Like what?
bunch of hot googly garbage.
Even if it's
Yeah.
not about that, it could be like about like little lizards in the area or something. But there's nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing. Oh well, it's just weird. All right, so that's it. That's
But the
Nothing.
science is
accept that.
settled. It's weird.
The science is settled on the
Settled.
fact that it's weird, and we're gonna go with that.
That's what's like
Chat.
really frustrating is like a lot of that.
Take it easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Chat,
Love you,
chat.
Adam.
I'll see you tomorrow. Base Staff Monday on my channel. Garrett, the rest of the crew, and then we'll see you guys next week. Luke Caverns. Been watching his videos.
Mhm.
He's a cool dude.
Looking forward to talking to him.
Cool
Uh,
dude. Had dinner with him. That's
Nice.
did.
All right. Well,
right. Homeboy.
guys,
So
I'll see you next week.
take care,
Cheers.
buddy.
Bye.
Later.
Adam Crigler, ladies and gentlemen. Good man right there. Can't wait to see him in the UK. So we're gonna
So
bust through
close,
these-
man.
I know. We're gonna bust through these super chats, and then I'm gonna hit the road. I'm gonna go say bye to Drinker. So I gotta hang out with Drinker all fucking weekend.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Get to eat dinner with him. It's a cool dude. Just
Will
really
is a
back.
good dude. Is a good dude.
He's so tall.
Yeah,
He
dude.
is.
Like, I
He
was
is
shocked.
Massive.
Yeah, and he like works out at the hotel, which I didn't even do. I'm like, man,
You're on
feel
vacation.
we'll feel less than.
Okay.
CC Ria for $5 says, can't believe I'm back from Anime Matsuri just in time for this. Keep being authentic. I will do well. I can't be anything else. I'm not smart enough.
That's what I say. Too stupid to lie to anybody.
Reticent Voice is a traveler says Venture Brothers movie review. When? Twisted Metal review.
Yes.
When? I really want to know what you and Quarter Black think. Well, I have talked about Twisted Metal on multiple live streams. I guess I can do like a little review for Nerdrotic Daily.
You should.
I should. Well, I got to work. The reason I'm leaving tonight is I got to get going on a video because I had no ideas when I got here. I told Garrett, I'm like, I got nothing, dude. So don't worry about it. But then I got inspired from talking to the folks, and now I have two. Now I have two ideas that we will execute with precision. No, not really, but
With autistic
As
precision.
much precision
Autistic.
as we can.
yeah, exactly. Venture Brothers, we have a pin in the calendar for this Thursday for the Venture Brothers. Okay.
Pin for, I think it's
Thursday
4 p.m. Central.
something like that. Yeah.
Around there.
as with all things, change. But Luis Sueves for $15 says, I have seen Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. Is that the one about the disappearances in Alaska? Or is that the fifth kind? No, it's the fourth kind. Yeah, that was a freaky movie. It's a freaky movie. And it's based on true events, by the way.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, you should watch it. I think it's got why am I blanking her name now? Mila Jovovich in it.
Oh, I like her. Yeah.
On a side note, where do you watch the new Ancient Aliens? I watch it on the History Channel. You have to watch fucking commercials, but it's
you can get it on the History Channel. Go to their website.
Go to their website.
I think it's also on like Tubi and
it's on Hulu as well.
Hulu.
And I think some are still on Netflix. Eric K for $5. Gary, John Kerry does not own a huge jet. His whole family does. He just flies around in it. Ha ha ha. I know. He got so busted on that. That was great.
Oh, did he try to flex it was his?
No, he tried to say it wasn't his because he's like all about environment, trying to save it. He was flying around on a freaking private jet like Leonardo DiCaprio.
He was getting
sucker.
He's like, I don't know why people keep on saying I own a private jet. That is just an abject lie. And then the guy's like, there's records of you flying in a private jet. He's all, that's my wife's jet. Fucking piece of shit.
Okay.
WG Traveler says DECCG. WG, you're gonna have to tell me what that means.
Yeah.
Maybe I just said something racial again. Damn it! You guys keep tricking me. I feel like John Campia. That's a great name. K-Bub,
I love that name.
I love that name. Carbon dating isn't accurate beyond 100 years. Blind tests on now artifacts are widely inaccurate. Yeah, they are. This is true. And you know when carbon dating came around, right? Right around the time Oppenheimer blew up a bomb. Hey, you're back. Is the party over? Is everybody gone? No? Are they still, so I can go down there and say goodbye?
This is Nerdrotic makes an appearance.
Are we gonna rap? What's a rap party?
At the end of
I know, I'm just kidding.
And you have to sing some verses or rap verses.
I can go to the rap party for like 5 minutes to say goodbye. Yeah, or 10 maybe. We're gonna work it all out live. You don't mind, audience? Just talk amongst yourselves.
This is a
glimpse at the rap. I'll hold down after the show. I'll get this wrapped up.
Wrap the show
party, and then we'll wrap off.
A double wrap.
She's simping for drunk 3PO right now. I don't know.
I like her outfit. It was very cute.
Simping for the Forrest Gump of geeks and gamers.
Wait, is that because he's everywhere, or is that because he's kind of slow?
Yes. Jay, I love you. I love you, Jay.
I love Jay. He's great.
Christy Jones for £2 says space, like birds, is fake. Okay, and so is the Earth is flat. The moon landing was fake. So were atomic bombs, and so
pandas are also fake.
Reality, because we're all just in a giant sim. Smooth the DJ. Well, I got to meet Smooth. Smooth came out here.
I miss Smooth, man.
I'm sad I didn't go to meet him.
He missed his flight.
He came out from the motherland, and he's fucking awesome. It's great.
He was supposed to be at Chrissy's show, but he had a layover, and then his flight was delayed like 3 times or something.
But he's I'm just going to tell everybody, Smooth's going to be here in Texas for like another week. He's making the trip worth it, you know. So there you go. So I have a good time, buddy.
Get some tech mix.
Hey, Gary, good to see you at Matsuri. Been a pleasure meeting you. Don't forget about the story Farron told you about GoTit. I had it up and we don't have time for it, but my God, we're going to hit it next week because I looked into it. So it's about a kid. Was it Lars? A kid went missing from an airport. They saw him go in. And it was in oh fuck. I just
Bulgaria.
Stuff with kids creep me out.
I have all the whole thing up. Well, he's not a kid. He's like an adult. He's a kid to Gary.
Me. He's a kid to me because I'm old. Lars Mintok, yes, Farron. That was it. And it is fucking weird. Yeah, you get footage of the kid running out of the airport without his luggage or anything, like saying, "I want to live," and you never see him again.
Yeah.
How old is he ish? Just
It looks like he's like 25, maybe.
okay.
It's a kid. As a freaking kid. Just because you had kids when you were a kid, Garrett.
He's 28.
doesn't mean
He was
you're
28.
not all kids. That's still a kid.
Dang,
28-year-old.
Breeder.
Hey, man. Proud of it.
But thanks,
breeder.
Smooth.
We strong stock.
We'll hit it on the next one. I had it ready to go, and I had a segue, but you guys have been very generous with the super chats. I got to get through these. Connor Matthews, welcome to the Traveler. Traveler. Odin 79 Streamlabs for $3. If you follow the trails going from the main building where there are more buildings miles away from it, even if it is little info on this, I like you guys exploring something that is less known. Yeah, you know what? If I had a better internet connection, if I was on my Google Fiber, I would have gotten on that Google Earth, the Google Earth, and checked it out, because the quality, it depends on where you are, but the quality is better. But it tends to not be good in like China or Antarctica, because they use older imagery, because there isn't, well, especially with Antarctica, because there isn't a lot of satellites that do the polar orbit. But Mexico, you think I'm guessing there's a lot of satellite stuff of Mexico. Just in our best interests. Sorry, Mexico. Not sorry. Michael Barutain. By the way, I freaking love Mexico. I think Mexico could be a great country. I love fucking Mexico. I love Mexico. I live next to
Mexican people are awesome.
Yeah, I love everything about it.
Food is awesome.
Yeah, it's their government that fucks them over all the time, and it's sad.
My wife is half Mexican.
There you go.
Mm.
I love them peoples.
It is possible the rock was carved after the lake was formed, but lake level was just 12 feet lower. Maybe a sacred spot. They carved the image of an animal they used to hunt. Yeah, but I mean, how do you carry on that memory? Do they use source rocks? I mean, they might.
Other rocks, yeah.
Passing rocks to each other.
Yep. It looked to me like they knew what it looked like. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that like it could have risen 12 feet around 10,000 years ago. So humans were in North America at 10,000 years ago, at 20,000 years ago, at 100,000 years ago, and longer. The reason I believe they try to suppress that information is indigenous people, because they're not indigenous, even though we know they're not indigenous. But they still want to say, well, they were the first ones here, so that makes them indigenous. Well, not necessarily. No, the Clovis people now predated them, and they're all dead. We don't know what they look like. We never found a body, never found a bone, but we knew they were there. So
if they say something like that, then it will make a lot of tribes angry. They've had issues where they've found new evidence that has changed their outlook on some of these tribes, and those specific tribes get really mad because they're like, that's my tribe. I see my tribe as a certain way, and you're, with your colonizer science saying it's not true. So that's what's going to happen. But I mean, did science? It's science and history, and it's not what it is. Like, we have to just say it is. Like, they aren't the first people. There were people here before.
We have to rely on accidental finds, like building a road.
Yeah,
and how much shit
obvious
swept under the rug if it's a private corporation and they're say Tesla is building their giant building, their battery factory. Not that Elon would do this; it's just an example. Here in Texas, and they dug up, Zorbu probing a fucking mammoth or something like that. And they're like, well, shit, this will stop our project dead. We're just going to pretend we didn't see it and continue on.
Yeah.
And
it's a huge money loss if they do report it.
That Alaskan Bones guy was asked directly. This is my favorite question, was asked directly about Joe Rogan. It's like, have you found people? And he's all, I can't answer that question.
Well,
which answered the question. Curious if you've ever seen the work of Michael Tellinger. I have. He's found hundreds and thousands of pre-flood stone circles in South Africa. that still emit high levels of harmonic energy to this day, says Randap Productions for $10. I am aware of him. Very much so. And I think he's got some pretty good talks until he starts talking about his communist Ubuntu thing. And then he loses me. But as far as the research is concerned, yeah, those stone circles that are all over South Africa are freaking old and they make no sense. None at all. Sejong the Great for $5. Effing Adam better not quit early like the biotech he is. Stay. He's got to sleep.
It's really late where he is. Okay.
You know, he's lazy. It's whatever. You know.
Yeah, he's a pussy.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You can't hang. See how it is. We see how it is. But it's okay.
Oh, he's going to be giving us so much shit when we're jet lagged over there. He's like, what?
Yeah, he is.
No,
So
we're
what,
going to
you
be
can't
able to
stay up a little later?
No.
What?
We are going to stay up late. He is going to wake up super early, and we're just going to all be in bed.
Yeah, we're gonna
The
be
day's
crashed.
wasting away.
What is Melissa's way to beat it is just to stay up for 24 hours.
Mhm.
We stay up for 24 hours. We
Do
suffer
that.
through it, and then we're fine.
I think I'm going to be
When
on
we
that
get there,
time zone anyways.
Yeah. We stayed up all night. We got there and we watched a movie, and I remember about a third of each movie. So Underworld was one of the movies I kind of watched
Good
Nice.
movie.
after we landed in London, and The Bourne Identity. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that in so long.
The Happy Plague Doctor is a traveler. Everyone should have an Equinox 800 metal detector. They're waterproof. Okay. I'll get one. Sig Valdison for $10. I was big into this stuff back in the 6th grade, but in the 70s through my teens, now I teeter between humanity having destroyed itself before and it had advanced tech or aliens gave us knowledge. It could be a little bit of both. I think the Watchers, the Nephilim, could either have been left over, the remnants of the previous civilization, or aliens coming down screwing chicks. I don't know.
or it's
I mean,
us,
Or it's us.
destroyed ourselves, or some massive cataclysm came down and destroyed us,
I'm open to all of it.
reset everything.
Heads up, gang, at Sean Ryan Show Official is premiering his podcast with Brandon Fugel tomorrow at 8:14. Teaser trailer looks fun. Says Nevermore, £5 I will watch it. Hell yeah.
On Ryan Show.
I
Official.
would love to talk to Brandon Fugel about fucking nerd stuff. Like, I think he, or music. He has pretty good taste in music too. Giants Nephilim episode with Wendigoon thoughts. Johnny B.
Positive.
Cashel for $10. Very, very positive. And
Very positive. I like
would talk about
Wendigoon.
that stuff all day long. The Bob that God made mad for $4.99. You guys should look into Celtic mythology. There are stories of time warps, giants, and armies hidden underground, waiting to be awakened when needed.
Yeah,
and that's what we know. So much of it was lost. Clown $4.99. Hello, everyone. Have you heard about the Acambaro figures found in Mexico in 1944? These figures are said to be dated to 4,500 BC. Smithsonian has them. Yes, I am aware of them. That they've actually made an appearance on Ancient Aliens.
Very cool.
But you're talking about the action figures. They're basically action figures. They're little toys for kids.
really.
And some of them like had dinosaurs and shit. Yeah. And not just dinosaurs. It's like dinosaurs and like ships that could be, I mean, they say they're birds, but yeah. Sean Awesome 77 for $5. How could the structure be before the ice age of the Great Lakes were carved out by the ice age glaciers? That's a good question. But before the ice age goes back minimum, correct me if I'm wrong, if Ben's out there, 50,000 years, 100,000 years. And we're talking about when the ice encroached on that area. I think the ice age went back 100,000 years. I have to look. I don't know for sure. 125,000.
Is it that the ice carved out them,
Yes.
or they just filled them
And
up?
No, they carved them. Well, there might
And
have
if it's
been-
only 12 feet, it's not deep in the middle. It's like on the edge.
The lakes themselves were carved out by glaciers, and then
Okay.
the water left over, that is leftover glacier water. Yes.
But if it's only 12 feet deep, it's not deep into the lake. It's somewhere on where the shore is, where it wouldn't have been quite as deep.
But like how much does the lake fluctuate? A great
that's a
lake,
good question.
not just a little lake, not like Lake Henderson in Nevada. We're talking about a great lake.
Yeah.
Like what does it fluctuate? That's the question. Odin 79 in the Streamlabs side for $3. If I remember it right, Lake Michigan never gets above 65 degrees or 18 for Commonwealth folks. I'm trying to find out if there are any islands in the triangle. Anyone in the chat now? Fucking 65 degrees. That's cold water. That is
Swimmable.
Dude, that is shrinkage territory. You walk out with an innie.
Wow.
All right.
Suck it in.
I'm saying.
Shriveled man.
Transition. Easy. Done. Just go swim
Shrivel
in that
your
lake.
nibble. Gary, stop laughing. Gary, they have demolition derbies on the ice. Just go with it. I'm not saying it's smart, and I know they have demolition derbies on the ice.
I just like my life, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not going to participate.
It's okay if you want to.
If you want to, go ahead. I would rather see a demolition derby in the desert. That's where they belong anyway. Metastep for $5. Larry Bader went missing on Lake Erie and wound up living a totally different life in Omaha, Nebraska with amnesia of his former life, per Mr. Balin. Or did he not like his wife? I'm just
And pretend
Mr.
I
Ballin.
forgot. That's a possibility too.
Balin. I like Mr. Ballin. He's like, I'm Mr. Ballin. It's like free balling.
She watches videos. He has really good videos.
Why have we never discussed the upcoming film The Creator? Looks like District 9, Robot Buddhism, P.S. Gar, San Antonio, Food, Chapala, Jalisco, Get Some. I can't believe I read that when most of it was like all the vowels were taken out of the word.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Spelled UPCMNG. We're headed towards a new language, by the way.
We are, man.
And have was HV, and I got it. Jay Weatherford, thank you for the $5. I am going to talk about The Creator when I go see it. I'm going to go see it. Brother Ruddalock for $2. Phoenix Lights. That thing went over all of Arizona. You know what? Who do we have on next week?
Leap Caverns.
Luke Caverns. Okay. Following week, who do we have on? Nobody?
No one.
Phoenix Lights episode.
We've been talking about it behind the scenes for a while.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what you want to see, the main documentary you want to see is I Know What I Saw by James Fox.
I know what I saw. Okay.
I Know What I
Fox
Saw
is good.
by James Fox. Speaking of watchers, get L.A. Marzulli on. That would be epic. I would love to get him on Bubba Dune. I subscribe to his channel. I own all his watcher stuff. I love L.A. Marzulli. Seems like a cool dude. I'll ask him. We've been trying to get like Randall on, and like it's hard to get a hold of Randall. It just is. So
he's an older chap.
I feel like there's like
Okay.
boomerisms that is just not good with messages, and he probably gets a lot of messages.
probably gets a lot, and it's probably it's like, yeah, I could slide into his DMs and go, do you know who I am? No, I'm not going to do that. Fuck yeah. I'm just kidding.
You should slide in there and be like, hey, I'm a big fan.
I am a massive fan. It's like I don't have many like heroes in this world. He's one of them. So
Aw.
yeah. Farron, £2 Look into getting Mr. Ballin on as a guest. We will.
Mhm.
X3 Girl's got a list. She's checking it twice. Oh, somebody
veteran.
also asked,
Really
and
cool.
I think it's a great idea. We should have a recommended book list. We talked about it a little bit
Amazon.
on the Amazon thing. I can work on that after I'm done with my video. But I think we should also have like maybe make it when the website's eventually finished, we can have a section where it's just a straight up list.
Yeah.
But I'll get it worked on. I'll get something going where there's at least 10 books on that list within the next week. Okay.
Yeah, we do have 3 books in the book recommendations in the description. Forbidden Archeology by Michael Cremo, Fingerprints of the Gods, and Magician of the Gods by Graham Hancock. So if you don't know what to start with, those 3 are the ones that I have written down.
Those are, yeah, that's if you want to go way back, Chariots of the Gods by Eric von Daniken, Bermuda Triangle by Charles Berlitz. Bermuda Triangle's out of print, but you can get it on eBay or whatever. Did you know that was my very first purchase on Amazon? Because I bought an old copy of the Bermuda Triangle by Charles Berlitz back in 1998.
Dang.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
It's like OG
Gotta go.
Amazon.
I'm gonna go say goodbye to Drinker and all them and hit the road because I kind of miss my kids.
Oh,
Maybe the dogs too.
that's so cute.
My pool, my food, my bed, my action figures. I really miss those.
Do you ever like talk to them when you're
All
just
the
like,
time.
we have one more.
For the video, that's all I'm talking to. They're my audience. They're really harsh with the feedback, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Look,
Rudy,
how about that,
Thank
guys?
you for the 2.
Travelers out there, if you want to get a guest on, maybe slide in their mentions on Twitter
Mentions
or
on.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, there's this really great
Do
show.
you know of
called-
this show?
Do
Yeah.
you want to sound really smart? You should go on the show with these really dumb, except for X-Ray Girl,
Yeah.
really dumb people.
Because it
And,
does
Oh,
prove what
no.
it does is it proves that the place that you're suggesting, if they've never heard of us, that there are people that want to see us there.
I'm only
See them
saying
there.
that
So
X-Ray Girl because you're Asian.
I'm
and
a,
I know
I'm a bimbo. So
you actually got good grades.
I did.
But what do you got coming up, Garrett?
I got absolutely nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Tomorrow, Base Staff Monday on Adam Crigler's channel with everybody flawed, Andreas, Darth Call, all the greats.
Action figures, Eric. Action figures.
Are you one of them, Eric?
I have dolls.
And then Normal World, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't know what we're doing, but it's gonna be fun, whatever it is. We figured it out on Mondays, so
Kind of like every show it's like you're trained for this. You had this structure at that other place, and then you come here and it's like whoop-a-doo, we'll just work when we can.
It's funny. It's
I
the same
prefer
thing. We
this.
talked about that. We are like, yeah, I had to the little learning curve just
yeah.
float with us.
Yeah, you go with the flow, man. I'm trying to get more of that energy over there at that other place. There's too much structure.
And then there's none.
But it works. That's the
It works,
crazy
yeah.
part.
Just let it go, man.
Just let it
Just
be,
let it happen.
man. Just be a leaf on the wind. Go with
Yeah.
the flow. That's right. What you got coming up, X-Ray Girl?
Tomorrow we are watching and reviewing the rest of the season of Doctor Who with Eccleston. So the episodes are called Boomtown and Bad Wolf. I'll finally figure out what Bad Wolf means.
Oh,
And we're also watching, I think this is the Christmas special called The Parting of the Ways. I think
Boomtown.
maybe. I don't know. But it's gonna be exciting. It's the
Parting
end
of the
of
Ways
the
is the last episode, and then
it's
the
the last
Christmas
episode?
special is Christmas Invasion, where
Oh,
David.
okay. So maybe it's not the Christmas special. We'll get there at some point, I'm sure. But that's going to be exciting. I can't believe we're already at the end of the season. It feels too quick, and I'm going to miss Eccleston because he was awesome. But I hear the next one's always going to be good and better, or not better, but just as good.
Season 2 it's got some good stuff, but it's of the Russell T Davies era, it is the weakest season. It is the weakest. It has the most weak episodes. It's still really good and fucking Shakespeare compared to everything else.
Yeah. I mean, even just the season is very well written in comparison to a lot of the stuff that we watch. Everything is placed carefully to reveal the story in a really good way. So it'll be on Zia's channel, 6 p.m. Eastern. Lots of gaming, Baldur's Gate. I found Shad Spear Lover, and we'll see what happens with that storyline. But yeah, so
Cool. I don't know. I'm going home. I'm gonna make a video. That's that's all I know.
We got another super chat. Hayden.
Ask Az to be on Secrets of the Frost Maiden. He seemed receptive today during afternoon tea. Hayden.
I have no control. I think it was suggested a couple months ago, but I don't know what happened with that. So I don't control that, unfortunately. So
X-Ray Girl ain't got time to go on Az's 10-hour game streams every day. Okay.
they're very long, okay? I'll leave it on And it's just like he's still in the same scene, and I'm like, how are
Crazy.
you doing this?
The sun, like you could see the sun is up now. Sun goes down, sun comes back up.
In
Cleveland
one
Brown
scream.
says say no to
Yeah.
bear sex, and I agree.
That game
Say
is
no to
really
bear
thirsty. It's a weird thirsty
No, it's
game.
very thirsty. Every character wants to do you.
Yeah. I just have to keep saying no.
Hmm.
Yeah. Can I just fucking fight shit? Can I just like?
I know.
That's why I like Witcher 3. Is I just
Everybody trying to romance you.
take you a long time to get somewhere where you just kill some shit and then you talk to some people and then you kill some more shit, and that's fine. That's all I want out of my video game. I don't need to be my video game character. As a gamer, I'm an expert on that, so you should listen to me. You should listen to me. I got a Fortnite skin. I know it was like made by Nerdrotic, and they're making fun of me, but I have a Fortnite skin. and I can say leave children alone all I want. Leave children alone. Leave children alone. Get the Fortnite skin where you can't walk through doors. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to the Nerdrotics. Thanks. It was a great meeting. Some of you. Cheers. And thanks to everyone who left super chat and donation. I love this show. So we'll be back next week with Luke Caverns. And this is
I cannot wait for
check
that.
out his stuff. He's on Instagram. He's on the TikTok. He's on YouTube. And he's a youngster, but he's really good. And I can't wait to talk to him.
Like modern day Indiana Jones.
He gave one of the two best talks at the Cosmic Summit. Thank you. You could tell I was having a stroke right then.
We heard that, Melissa.
Yeah. She's just judging me. That's all she does, is judge me. It's okay. I'm used to it. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Ciao.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nerdrotic.com.
Welcome, travelers, to the fringes of reality, where the strange and mysterious meet, and the thin veil between fact and fiction is torn. Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier.